Good. Everything is set, ready to roll. We make it so everything work. I'm hoping that my adjustment has made it so that I will be picked up by my microphone with every word. It was having a little bit of issues this morning, so this morning? No, it was the afternoon. I was having a little bit of issues this afternoon, but we're fixed. We are Eastern European. Hi, Draco Kraken. Are we? I don't know. Is that what the accent felt like? That's good. Yes, time to do the show only in one voice, but perhaps not entirely. I do not know. I cannot do a good accent necessarily. I'm also waiting on food to get here, so at some point I will step away. Which will be leaving all of you alone for a little while. But I'm sure you can handle it, because I can handle it. Oh, I won't lie, I'm very, like, my eyes are tired, I can feel it, and it sucks. But, it's just gonna be me tonight. So, we're gonna see if I'm up to snuff, on, on my own. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Bold of you to trust us alone. I know, I'm extending the branch of trust. Don't, make it so that, I regret my decision. Am I coming through loud and clear, or too loud, or too clear? That is my question to you. I hope that I am not the worst in terms of volume. Everyone I've talked to today is having eye things. That sucks. It's only just because I'm like actually tired. I woke up at 7 a.m. today. That was not planned. I just woke up at 7 a.m. and was not able to go back to sleep because before that I woke up at 4 a.m. So, you know, it's a little bit of a progression of me dying of tiredness after the fact. You know, it's no big deal, right? But I will say I'm happy to report that we played Vampire today, so that was good. Wasn't too tired for that. Yeah. You're way too perfect on audio. Needs an Xbox 360 mic. I'll be sure to get one. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Timothy. How are you? Good to see everybody. Sorry that we've been kind of radio silent in terms of content for a good while now. I've literally been meaning to go and sit down and actually edit, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow for a while because I need to get more Vampire ready because we're getting close to the first of the month and I have nothing ready for session 7 necessarily. So, I got to do that. It's going to be tomorrow and it's going to be Monday and it's going to be Tuesday if I can find the time and the energy. But this week is going to be editing week for me. I have not played like any Monster Hunter since we streamed it. I've not like played much video games. All I've been doing is coming home after work and going to bed, really. Sometimes I sit down and I watch House. That's fun. I've been having a good time going back through it. I'm already back to season 8. I'm nearly all the way through the series again, which is good. It's my 4th or 5th time, I want to say. Really like that show. It's good. Hey, Pizza Funk. How are you? Good having dairy-free meatball and olive pizza. That sounds pretty good. That's a lot of House. Yeah, it's good stuff. House is really good. Yes. I have it on Blu-ray as well. I made sure to buy the box set, so if I ever uh, don't have actual access to it via, like, Prime, I'll be able to watch it whenever. Is a House marathon a mansion? Yes. That's true. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Table Talk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Greydon95, and it's gonna be just me today. So prepare, because, like I said, I'm a little tired, and we'll see how badly I do. I'm better at bouncing off with other people, for sure. So all of you in chat, hey, I'm gonna be relying on you, to bounce off of. But, yeah. You're saying that you are devoting your time to the incredible game Assassin's Creed Shadows Unfathomable. True. I remember hearing that game wasn't going to be doing well, and, I guess, is that what's happening? I don't know. I haven't looked into Assassin's Creed for a long while now, but I remember hearing about it and going, huh, okay. Yay, bouncing time. Exactly. I still haven't even finished the story of Monster Hunter Wilds. That's how, like, not time that I've had or energy that I've had. And that game has been out for, like, weeks. So, I'm doing great. Hard to say Ubisoft never gives clear numbers, that is true. Anyway. Couple of things that I want to talk about before we get started into the actual videos and the topics today. I have been doing some behind-the-scenes things. I will show you one of those behind-the-scenes things that I have been working on, because it's cool, but it's not going to be ready for you to view any of this stuff until I get it so that everything is up to snuff and I have things that I have in front of me that I can actually refer to. I'm just never signing up for Uplay, but that means no Trackmania sequels or Rocksmith. That sucks. Yeah. Yeah, Uplay was something I signed up for a long time ago, so I just kind of have it. It's unfortunate, but what are you going to do? Anyway, so you know how I got us to be a part of Fourth Wall, that little merch site that is for creators. I have actually gone on there and made us on coasters, which is sick as fuck. I really like coasters. Okay, so these are the first products that are actually, like, gonna be a thing that you could potentially buy if you want to. Coasters, very good coasters. The price might drop a bit, for sure, because it's real expensive to make this stuff, apparently. Slash also make a profit out of it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe $10 is fine for a coaster. I don't honestly know. I've not looked at coasters. I'll have to do some more research. But that's the first thing that's going to be releasing for an actual, like, product through Fourth Wall. So if you want to put wet glasses on top of our faces, that will be something that you can do. So that's something that's coming up. I'm waiting for the prototypes to come to me, because by prototypes, of course, it's the thing of, like, it's prototypes, sure, but, like, I just want to make sure that they're not, like, real shit. So I'm going to receive some of them way later. I think it's on, like, 2 weeks or so. And I'll tell you what they're like, and then we'll come back and circle back around, and I'll make this actually something that's public that people can go and see. Interestingly enough, on that note, the actual you know how people have like that YouTube product shelf that's under videos and stuff, right? We can't do that until we're actually eligible for monetization on the channel, which is really annoying. But I wanted to do that, and it was like, no, you can't. So, hey, everybody, this is my call to action. Watch content. Watch a lot of hours of our content, because that's the only thing that we need to be able to put these as like a little YouTube shelf thing under the videos. You know? Go back, watch all of Devils and Dice again, and do that like 100,000 times, I guess. I don't know what it is. That's something that we would need for these to be like a thing that I don't have to like send you to a different page for. It could just be under the YouTube videos. So I don't know. That's the only real thing that is preventing us from that. It's whatever. Have you not hit hours watched with how long this podcast is? No. No, we are not. I could literally show you, and I will, because I'll be transparent about it, because fuck it. What are you gonna know? That we do not hit the numbers. We do not make the numbers necessary. Where is it? What is this gonna do? Yeah. So here, I'll show you exactly what I swear, like, this is literally on our page here. If you go into the thing, it's like memberships. You get that, and all of this, and supers, and all that. Eligibility. Wow. We've been eligible in this sense for a while. Guess what they did? Oh, you need to have 3,000 public hours in a year. And you can have 3 million public short views in 90 days. And then you're eligible. We are not eligible for this until we have 3,000 public watch hours. It's, dude, it used to be just a sub thing, but hey, whatever. If this is what they want to do, this is what they want to do. So we can't do that. It's the way it is. By the way, sorry to not say hello, Shin. I see you, and hello, Entropy and Verity. I appreciate you being here. Y'all are probably good on the watch time requirement, but the subs are a hurdle. Nope. Yep. Nope. That's it. Time to grind on those shorts. No. I don't understand. Like, I don't have the good content brain for making them. I probably could if I really thought about it, but man, oh man, I would have to go back through a lot of stuff to make good shorts, I guess, which I don't have the time for. I'm just trying to make Vampire good, you know? Vampire's the big thing. Anyway, for us right now. Anyway, so that's the thing. It's completely transparent for you to see. That's how it works. There's some short stuff you could do. Most of them would be Garibay. Oh god, no. But yeah, so that's a thing. Aside from that, there's not much else that's actually changed too much. I'm trying to get that all set. There is, I will tease a little bit of, there's some summer themes coming soon enough once summer comes around. Hoping to have a little bit of an interesting thing for the summer that you can see. But we'll see. Clickbait title. He said what? Yeah, I know. But yes, so when the summer comes around, you'll see some new art that's coming. And I'm hoping to get a couple of different things for that, because now that we have the ability to and I have given us more funding via giving the actual account more funding now that I can. We should be able to get a bunch more art and stuff out there. So thank you, of course, to everybody who's given us stuff through the Patreon. We really appreciate it, of course. You're valuable dollars go to getting the music and the art and stuff, but I'm also contributing my dollars to it so that we can get more. So, don't worry about it. We're doing great. I should be close to 3,000 hours watching the channel on my own. Hey, I can't argue with the YouTube thing, so that's just how it goes. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on from this horrible shilling and all of this that I've done so far to the actual topics of today. So, as you saw, we're going to be talking about taking better notes and roleplay. Easy roleplay rule. Oh, excuse me. So, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is how to take better notes in Dungeons and Dragons. This, of course, is... Oh, not that. This, of course, is brought to us by... I guess it's good for Boo that he isn't here for this, because it's brought to us by the DM layer, good old Luke, talking about all of this kind of stuff, having to do with the actual notes and note-taking. Now, it's only a 9-minute video, so we'll see if there's anything here that is of any use necessarily to improving note-taking, which I don't know what could be said. I guess taking the time to really write a lot of stuff out, like write out the try to develop a shorthand, I guess. Try to write the stuff that your character is experiencing. Unless, I guess, if you're the quote-unquote party scribe, in which case you are taking notes of just about everything, which means that you gotta do your best to pay the most attention that you can. What I am fortunate to have, as well as the rest of the guys on the crew, is that we have the recordings a lot of the time. So the recordings are good for notes if they want to look back at some stuff. And also that I keep a lot of that stuff in my head. I might misremember something here and there, but a lot of what we've done is kind of in my brain from the last session that we've done. But that's just me, it's not something that anybody should really rely on in the sense of taking notes, right? If any of you have any ideas for better note-taking, of course, do let me know, because I don't know how else to improve this, aside from maybe taking an audio recorder and just recording the session yourself to then write down the notes for, I guess. Slash, you could have a microphone set up to record while the session goes on to try to get it to transcribe it. But probably recording it is the easiest way to go if you really want to try it. I'm not sure. I think Pointy Hat's video about dragons really broke me since I keep feeling the need to tell people about his videos. That's fair. Classic from when I was a teacher when asked, how do I take notes? With a pencil. I did give real tips after. Fair enough. Nice. Very good. Actually, to be fair, one of the best things that you could hire an Aiden to take your notes. Yes, exactly. He's a very good note taker. But one of the things that is good to do for your note taking is to use pencil, I think. I use pen myself because I'm a masochist, apparently, and I need to cross things out and such, or make them final, I guess, in that way, somehow. But it can very well be easier and better for you to use a pencil to then have the eraser handy if you really need to, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. If you're using the a notepad app or something, right? Then you know, you just got to be fast at typing, I guess. I don't know. He's a good note taker and he needs the money for his infant leukemia. That's right. In his 86th trimester of infant leukemia. Yeah. I think taking better notes means structuring notes better in this context. That's a good thought as well. Maybe structuring the notes in such a way that you take note of like each thing via a section, in the sense of like if you're in a dungeon, you might make a dungeon section for your notes, right? And then each room you might then have like a subheader of room 1, room 2, you know, and then take notes specifically about those, maybe? I don't know. But you'll have to forgive me for a moment before we actually begin, because my food just arrived, and I am hungry. So, I'm gonna go get my food real quick, and I'll be right back. Don't cry! I swear to God! I swear to God, if you cry, oh, I'll know! And you better have shed a single tear. Smell our hands if you want to be sure. True. Alright, I'm back. DoorDash will infinitely don't steal your fries. We definitely don't steal your fries. Yeah, right. I rely on them a little too much. Your entire order and market is delivered. To be fair, I have actually not gotten some of my stuff, and they've just given me, like, some things. It's not until recently that they've started to, like, actually refund me and say, oh, we substituted this for this, or, oh, we just refunded you for this, because we didn't have it. Anyway. How did you know I got fries? I see some of you were crying. I'm gonna... Oh, it makes me mad. Don't do it. Alright. Shall we begin while I start gorging my face? Here we go.
May be tempted to think or not showering and showing up with
What the fuck is going on? That, like, didn't start right. Here we go.
That you may be tempted to think that metagaming or cheating or rules lawyering or arguing with the game master or missing game sessions or not showering and showing up with unbearable body odor or breaking the game with overpowered character builds or eating the last slice of pizza or any other number of problematic behaviors are the greatest player mistakes. And as much as all of those suck, especially the body odor one. I mean, why do folks not shower? Is this like a D&D thing? Is it a testament to your commitment to nerdy pursuits?
Okay, shut up. For like, just move on. Nobody fucking cares. Please. It's not funny. Please.
To forsake hygiene in the pursuit of level 20 and the +5 sword of unholy awesomeness? Like, I may stink to all heavens, but dang, isn't my bag of holding...
Can we just... Already, please, like, the joke goes on too long, man. Do you not know how to just end a joke? Please. Joke's on you, I have my own pizza. God, oh man, I want a pizza.
Filled with some awesome crap? No, even though that's horrendous and will clear a room out right quick, I submit to you that what players frequently get wrong is showing up clueless to the game session, having no idea what happened last time. And the solution is quite simple, really.
Okay. So, we, cue the Monty Python, get on with it? Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So here's the thing, right? He has now put not taking notes above all of that stuff in terms of like some of the worst things that you could do for your game as a player. And I would not agree to that whatsoever. Because, yeah, sure, not taking notes and not knowing what's going on isn't great, okay? But I also wouldn't fault somebody for not remembering what's going on if they didn't take the notes. I would be a little, maybe annoyed, I guess, but I also don't care to the degree of, like, oh yeah, you need to have, like, your shit together, because I'm used to having long periods of time between sessions. Like, and it's also, and it might be a personal thing as well, I might be biased in this way, because I do remember a lot of the stuff that happens in the previous sessions once I get to the table. Will I necessarily remember everything right before, before I get to the table? Maybe not, but a lot of the time I do. And so that it also might be coloring my perception on this, because if somebody else needs that little bit of extra help of like, okay, what did we do last time, guys? Like, I actually don't remember. And maybe other people have taken notes, or maybe they haven't, but they do remember, and they just go, oh yeah, so last time, this and this and this happened. And hell, sometimes, God forbid, but people do recaps as the DM before a session happens, right? How am I supposed to have banter about forgetting boat names if I take notes? True. Good reference. This is D&D, not boot camp. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not that big a deal, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing to then say, oh, hey, Mr. DM man, could you remind us what happened last time? Because I don't actually remember entirely, and I didn't take enough notes, or I didn't take notes at all, and I just want to make sure that I'm still remembering where I'm at. Because you're not necessarily showing disrespect to somebody if you're not taking notes on what's going on. Because you might be like, oh yeah, I'll remember, and then you don't. And it's like, oh shit. If it happens all the time, I guess it could be annoying, but it's not like a sin. Right? I don't see this to be that big a deal. Because again, maybe it's because of my perspective, but we've had months go between sessions, and we still get back into it once we get to the actual game. And even with Devils and Dice being that way, I didn't go back to watch things, because once we got to the table, I was at least like, oh, okay, yeah, we were here. Because when I looked at the table, I went, oh, yeah, okay. And maybe that's also something to do with the fact that we have the virtual table that we can save and keep as it was at the very end of each session, which is not necessarily something you can do in person, right? But you can take pictures if you really want, right? And sometimes that last sliver of roll-on sneaks up on you, and you can't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. True. Anyway.
Hi, I'm Lucar, and on this channel, I share my nearly 30 years of Game Master experience so that you can run amazing games that your players will love. And
I have to say as well that I appreciate that he has gone with, I don't know if this is for all of the newer videos, but he's at least saying, I'm helping with giving the experience, rather than, I've been a DM since I was in high school. Because who cares at that point? Like, that, whatever, saying that you have the experience is better, I think, than boasting that you've been doing it for a long time. You forgot what happened last session? Is this how you honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned?
Today we're talking about how players can improve their own game experience and that of everyone else at the table by taking good notes. Because in my experience, this is the #1 player mistake. Now, if you're a game master with players like this, players who need this video more than they need a good shower or a stick of Old Spice, as difficult as that is to imagine, please share this with your players. And if you're a player...
No, I'm sorry. If you need deodorant, if you are literally not taking care of your hygiene, and coming to a group setting, that is way more important. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm sorry, because we have something to talk about at that point. You know, it's like, oh, okay, dude, what's going on? We might have some underlying issues that we need to like address. Please, I don't know. 30 years? He looks 30. Oh, no. I don't think so. But, hey, good for him, I guess, if that's the case. If he looks that way.
Whose dungeon master shared this video with you, well, it's either because you're clueless, have the memory of a gnat, and need to take some good notes, or because the odor of a well-fermented dumpster follows you around. You're probably thinking that all you need to do is write down some bullet points of what happened in the game session, and you're good to go, right? Well, that's certainly a good start. Shoot, most game masters would kill for players who did just that. But if you made it through my ridiculous opening and got it this far, I'll give you a bit more information than just that, because you know,
I would fucking hope so. Yeah, please. Sorry.
Like that. The real question is, what exactly should you take notes on? Every prepubescent team running around in the gymnasium during after-school D&D club knows how to write the name of the NPC quest giver, what they want you to do, and how much loot you get when the job is done.
Sure.
And you certainly can't write down everything that happened or is said during a game session. The first key to good notes is active listening. Most people listen to others while planning their responses. Most players listen to a villain monologuing while planning their backstab, or whether they should cast Fireball, or wondering how many gold pieces their fancy helmet will go for. This is a mistake. Listen to understand, not to respond. And not just for villains monologuing. Whenever your dungeon master is dispensing information, be it by NPC or narration, and when your fellow players are talking, your primary purpose should be to comprehend what is being communicated. Doing this avoids the trap of assuming what the person is trying to say and allows you to actually receive the intended message.
Okay, yeah, so just in general, I think this is an important thing for daily life. You should try to do active listening. I mean, that's just a good skill to have, obviously. But I would also say that when you are in D&D, your character might not be an active listener. So I think it's fine if you don't necessarily do it like for the in-character stuff. For taking notes and such, yeah, taking down the bullet points is probably what I would go for, more so as like hey, this is what you at least should do bare minimum, right? If you're gonna be taking notes. Excuse me. Because bullet points are at least something that you can go for, right? You can go, hey, so in this, I put down, goblin offered job, and that was it. Did we take that job, or what's going on, right? You have a conversation starter, at least, to then have people go, oh, yeah, that's right, we were talking to him, and we decided we weren't going to take the job because the guy seemed a little sketchy, right? And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then you can have, you know, at least enough that it can jog some brains, because there's going to be at least 2 of you at the table, right? So, what I also would say is that you, as a dungeon master, should also be taking notes on what the players are doing and what the consequences of what they've done are, and what they, just in general, what their actions have been so far, because, yeah, the players should take some notes if they want to remember a bunch of stuff, because a lot of shit happens in a session, potentially. But you, as the Dungeon Master, also need to remember what happened so that you can make sure that you adequately run things. So, I don't know. I feel like it's... everybody has a part to play in this note-taking effort, right? I don't think that's much of a... anything that anybody could disagree with. And I feel like... Yeah... I don't know. When a player takes notes on certain things or recounts things in a certain way in those, like, before the game starts recaps, it can help with showing what they or their character are the most interested in and what they find to be the most important, right? Which can be a useful tool to help you when you're running games, right? So... I don't know. If they don't take great notes, or they don't take any notes at all, and whatever they have said is what they're going for, hell, they could have the wrong notes, and they could have the wrong idea of what was going on. And unless it is completely out of left field, in the sense of like, oh, they told us actually to go to the north, and then you're like, oh, no, they told you to go to the south to actually do the thing. Like, as long as it's not blatantly wrong stuff, if it's like, oh, yeah, the goblin actually who we got the job from, he seemed really polite and friendly. And then you go, okay, yeah, that's what you thought? That's what your character was thought about that goblin? That's great. I love that. When in reality, he was just being a condescending prick, you know? That might be interesting as something that they have to then work through, because they're like, oh, I've been under the assumption that he was nice the whole time, right? So that could be something that actually takes things in a different direction because they fucked up their note-taking, or how they perceived the situations, and then took that as the note. I don't know. So, again, active listening, good skill. You should practice it in your daily life. Active listening all the time in a D&D game? Sure, you can do that. And then you can decide how your character responds in general, I guess, every time, because you at least were understanding the situation. And if your character has not that kind of understanding of situations, then you might have to then go, ooh, okay, so they would actually take it this way. It's not like it'll hurt, but, you know, or sorry, it will help you most of the time, if not all the time, just active listening, but yeah. Active listening just called me out just now, fair enough. I would harp on the last slice of pizza joke if I need to have a running joke. I don't know, man. Running jokes are fine, but it's just the way that he does them that I'm like, eh. Hey, we can actively listen to his video, or we can try to think of ways to clown. Choose a priority. Clowning is always the priority. Fair enough. There you go. The DM should have the most notes, right, Alejo? Yeah, well, usually they would, but I don't know if I would say it's their responsibility to take note of, like, situations perfectly to recount to the players, right? Because, they, like, unless it's something that happened, like, 2 seconds ago, they probably won't need to recount it perfectly, and they probably shouldn't, like, give the players all of the information necessarily, to keep things in mystery here and there. But if they're asked, like, basic facts, that, you know, are like, oh, where were we supposed to, like, which direction were we supposed to go? Like, that's something that's fine to just give out right off the bat. And, like, what I like to do is, in the game, I'll remind players about things by letting them do, like, intelligence plus whatever checks, or just straight intelligence checks to see if their character can remember something if they get something wrong, that might be more important, right? I give them little helpful things like that, but I don't necessarily give them all of the information because of it. I just give them a brief thing of what they might remember, you know? I don't give them perfect information, necessarily, right? Because that's what the notes should be more for them, is having that quote-unquote perfect information that they remembered, right? Like highlight notes. For the players, sure. For the DM, you should have better notes, for sure. But you don't need to necessarily divulge them.
Because good notes can only be created based on good information. The second key to good notes is looking for non-verbal clues to identify what is important. Remember, you don't want to write down every piece of drivel that an NPC sprouts. Half the time they are just prattling on and on to fill out the game session. Do you know how hard it is to fill 4 hours with action-packed excitement? Even Hollywood only aims for 2 hours and
No, they go even longer sometimes, but also, like, so you don't have to, first off. Like, I don't know what this is about. Yeah, no shit. Not everything has to be action-packed throughout. You know that most, like, scenes in movies are like people talking? Like, that's most of the time, right? Not necessarily high action stuff all the time. So, and I don't know. Like, yes, obviously, your context clues should be there on what is important and what's not. So, like, but the other thing is, what if you find something important that somebody else doesn't find so important about the situation, right? So, if you have a party scribe, are they going to be taking all of the notes that you would take? You know? That your character might even take note of. If some of that quote-unquote useless drivel is something your character wants to make note of, well then, why not, you know? I get that it's a lot for taking notes and going with the like filling up notebooks and all of that kind of stuff in time, right? It takes a lot of time. But I don't know, man. Maybe it becomes something that's important to them because it's something that they can use as an angle to get closer with somebody or something. To show that they really were listening to them about, as Timothy has said, the baker about flavors of pie. Yeah, right? Like, why not? What's their favorite flavors of pie? What's the best things that they've baked? Like, it's to endear yourself to them by showing that you were listening to them, right? So not everything needs to be totally quest important, necessarily. I mean, obviously you should, to a degree, have notes on whatever is actually important, but, like, why not have some that are there for your flavor, for, like, what your character is interested in, right?
Judging by the recent string of box office flops, even they usually fail at that.
Yep.
Or is that just Disney? Anyway, point is,
Hey,
the Game
good
Master
dig.
will often give clues when something is important. Their posture changes, their mannerisms, they may stand up, or they may give the look of death at the one player who is always having a side conversation so that he shuts up for a few seconds so everyone can hear what the DM has to say. When your Game Master gives any of these clues, it's probably noteworthy. Like, literally, take some notes already. Now, the third...
So, just for something that is, I would also like to have some things for the modern age in here, because, not everybody is all around a table or using cameras in their games, right? So you have to go by, inflection. You have to go by words that are stated, a lot more so in non-face-to-face games, right? Like, something else that we use in tabletop sim is the little pointer tool. When you hit tab, it does a little arrow and you point to something. That's a good indication of something that they should look at. Obviously, you know, if they don't get everything, and they ask about something and they clarify, you clarify for them in those moments if you need to, right? You don't want to be a dick about holding the information back, right? So there, I don't know, man. It's, I don't know. I'm trying, like, again, it's good things to have as ideas to keep in the back of your mind, but not all of them apply to every situation and every character, you know? That's all I'm kind of stressing here, is that yes, it's good to have if you want to be better at taking notes, I suppose. But also, how much do you want to have it be notes that are in character, quote unquote, right? It doesn't have to be from the character's perspective, just things that your character would notice and actually pay attention to, right? Would your character give a shit about any of the NPCs and how they're actually feeling, or are they just going for all of the information that they have to say? Like the important information. Do they give a shit about any of the scenery necessarily? Or are they just purely driven to go and get to the next objective, right? I think it's important to have that in your mind when you're taking the notes, because yeah, everything's interesting, and you can also find everything interesting and just take all the notes because it's all meta stuff anyway. Like not necessarily stuff that your character only knows, but it's a way to kind of deepen your role play, I think, if you look at it from the perspective of your character and what they remember. Since Disney owns 50% of everything, it's probably just Disney. Oh, don't worry. All the companies don't know how to write. It's great. Not all of them, right? But like a majority of the big ones. Yeah.
Third key, and no, I don't know how many there are. Yes, I know you're writing a comment right now with everything bullet pointed so that people don't have to watch this video and can just upvote your wonderful watch time stealing comment, but I'm not going to tell you—
Whoa! What's that? My goodness. Watch time stealing comment. Is that something that you encounter a lot there, Luke? Because sure. Here's the thing, man. If people would rather, I'm sorry to say this, but if people would rather just look at a Cliff Notes version of your video, I don't know what someone is supposed to get from that. Like, also, what if they didn't want to steal the watch time away? They just wanted it to be a useful tool to go over your main bullet points, like after somebody has watched the video. Are you like, ooh, tell us how you really feel? Yeah, comments are engagement, bro. Well, yeah, but he's saying specifically watch time stealing, which is like, oh, okay. Wow. I know watch time is probably the most important thing on YouTube now. So that's unfortunate that that's happening for you. But does that not say something about the content that they're supposed to be watching here? I don't know. Who is that comment necessarily for? Who is actually going onto your video to not watch it? You know, and just look at the comments. I like, the reason why it might be liked is people might find that useful to not have to go back to watch the video. Like they have a summary that they can go by. I don't know. And that might be something that's more valuable than them having to rewatch the video 13 times, you know? And I get that you want to have the watch time, but let's be reasonable here. If somebody doesn't want to watch one of our videos, that's totally fine with me. Like, I have no issue there if somebody would rather have a TLDR of what we cover in our videos, in our show. And if somebody if somebody really wants to put in the effort to really summarize everything that we've done in a comment, hey, what am I gonna do? You know? Do whatever you want, man. People have time that they can devote to things. And if somebody wants to take that and like make it so that people don't have to take as much time for something, and move on with their day more, I say let them do it. It's fine. As long as it's not, you know, actually hurting something, I guess. I don't know. Watch time, like, I don't know, man. I get it. It's your job. You need people to watch and shit so that you make the money. But, like, I don't know, man. It just, that already makes me go, ooh, whoa, that's weird. We got a skill issue here? You seemed upset that people needed to do something else. I don't know, man. Understood. The mission is to steal all of Alejo's watch time by summarizing the episode into a comment. Hey, you can if you want to, man. I don't care. That means that you watch through it entirely to then summarize it, I guess. I don't know. The viewer's time is theirs to give. Yes, exactly. And if somebody else... I don't know. Like, there's no... You don't... People don't owe you their time, exactly. I think that's it, you know? I'm looking at the comments on that video, and I'm not seeing any get-to-the-point timestamps. It might not have been this video. It might have been a previous one at some point. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. Because, again, no one owes you their time. I'm sorry, but no one does. Like, even if I were to subscribe to a channel, I don't owe them anything. Get the YouTube AI summarize these VODs. There you go. Oh god. Please don't do that. Ugh. I'm sure that would go crazily bad.
You how many there are because I'll make sure that you at least need to watch the entire video to get them all. The third key to taking good notes is asking questions.
I'm sorry, wait. What?
You at least need to, well, don't have to watch this video and can just upvote your wonderful watch time stealing comment, but I'm not going to tell you how many there are because I'll make sure that you at least need to watch the entire video to get them all.
Yeah, that's how you do it. But also, like, why are you complaining, dude? You're doing fine, okay? Your channel is doing fine, and I'm sure your Patreon is doing fine. I'm sure you're doing okay. Like, come on. Don't get mad at the people that want to help some other people out, and you don't necessarily know their motives. In the comments, if they say, hey, don't watch this video, just look at these bullet points on what they go on, then yeah, there's a reason to be mad, I guess. But until I see evidence of that, oh my god. I don't know, man.
The third key to...
I would never... So this is the thing. For what we do here, I put the videos in the description for everybody to go and watch if they should want to. Okay? Like, because what we do here is not the intended experience, and it's not the intended, like, way to watch a video. We stop people at places, we talk about other things, all that kind of stuff. If you want to go through the entire thing and analyze it yourself, please go and into the description, go watch the video yourself. I highly recommend you do that, because maybe we get something wrong because we pause too much and everything, and then, hey, you can come back and say, hey, you got this wrong, right? So, like, I don't know. Don't worry, Alejo. If we did that, we would do it in the cringe way like we always do, so nobody would read it. Oh, well. There you go. A pointed discussion about TTRPG tactics by a man role-playing as a shadow person. I'm not role-playing, I am me. Come on.
Taking good notes is asking questions. Dungeon Masters aren't perfect, despite our ruggedly handsome faces and impeccable hygiene habits.
Shut up.
We don't always communicate clearly, and sometimes we forget to tell you important details. Even if we are literally reading directly from the adventure module in a lame, monotonous voice that has you practically falling asleep, something doesn't make sense. Ask. Also ask probing questions. Seek to learn more. Game Masters' brains are often overflowing with information that we are just itching to tell you. We could spend hours telling you about our wonderful worlds and adventures that we spent hours and hours creating, and unless we didn't and we're just pulling it all out of our butts. But even then, just ask. Please ask. I assure you, our butts are filled with endless crap that we are happy to present to the world to marvel at.
Okay, so just in general, asking questions is a good idea. It's something that you should be doing. Question everything, first off. We love it. It's great. because you're thinking about stuff. You're critically trying to think about it and trying to retain it and trying to learn more about it. Agreed. Do that, please. And I wouldn't. You are real from what I've seen. Yeah, fair. That's fair. Asking questions to clarify things is something you should be doing. Not just for note taking, but for in general, making sure that you understand the situations as they are presented, as well as making sure that excuse me, things are presented in a way that is consistent and able to be realistic, or at least as realistic as possible in the space. Internally consistent, one might say. Because I don't think it's a bad idea for players to say, hey, so we're in like a market, right? What is there potentially like a cart that's nearby that somebody has been, using to get all their goods into the market? Would that be here somewhere nearby? And then the DM saying, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that there would be, the cart that's used to get all the produce here. I think that would be nearby. Yeah, absolutely, right? Because it doesn't just give you opportunities for note-taking, it gives you opportunities for roleplay in general and believability in the world.
Okay, now you got the important information. You crack open the notebook and you're ready to take some notes. But stop right there. This isn't
you cut yourself
11th grade,
off,
and
weird.
Mrs. Brown isn't going to be grading whatever you write in that filthy notebook. No, it doesn't need a shower, but Old Spice...
Dude, you have to stop. You have to stop.
Might just help. What, you think notes can't stink? I assure you they can. So what you write in this thing should be customized for you, what you need. Preferably legible to yourself at least. Use short, concise sentences that focus on the important crap. Abbreviations are your friend. Consider outlines, numbering, and bullet lists. Now, if you want to feel superior to the unwashed masses, and judging by
Dude. Okay. Dude. Okay. Alright. Enough, please.
This video, there are apparently lots of them. You might even use fancy pants note-taking methods such as the Cornell method. Doing so first and foremost allows you to use scientific sounding terms like notes and cues and summary. Once you throw around terms like that, who can doubt your progress? And probably even take some mean notes. I won't delve into the Cornell method here,
Why?
but if you ask nicely in the comments, I'll be happy to Google it for you. Also consider coding your notes.
No. Who hurt this man's nose? Dude, okay. You have given me so little information about this. Like, yeah, sure, I'll Google it myself if I want to. What's the fucking point, then, of, like, bringing it up? If I have to go do the work. Yeah, sure, I can go do the work, but I thought the video here is to inform me how to take better notes. I'm getting sick of the gag. Same. Also, the Cornell method was developed to make students' notes easier to grade rather than help the students. Didn't know that. See? So what he has done has equate that the Cornell method makes you sound more superior because of using specific words, which does not help you with taking notes necessarily. Because if you're just looking for, like, superfluous words, right, that's gonna take you more time than just writing down the notes. I don't know. Also, we don't need to start making people into elitist note-takers, please? I don't see the point in that. Like, what... why was this even part of your speech here? Thirdly, again, having this come up as a resource to use, why not delve into it even a little bit, right? Even just a little bit, to give us at least a basic understanding of the concept. Your video is 9 minutes long, man. Please give us a little bit more meat to sink our teeth into. If it really matters that much, give us a brief summary and then say, and I've linked it in the description for you to find out more about the method itself and how it's done. Like, anything there. Maybe he'll say it later that he's put it in the description, but man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Come on. I can see why this man frustrates Boo. Yup. He frustrates us all a lot of the time. Yep. Cornell method, my mind went to my pink dragon first and Cornell University second. There you go. I don't know. For briefly looking at it on Google, it does not look useful for this. Well, there you go. I mean, Draco Kraken said it. It's for it easier to grade rather than help. For those that don't know, the Cornell method splits the page a third in with key terms and headers on the left and info on the right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get you. I understand. So it'd be like, oh, if I'm taking notes in biology, and I go, oh, this is the mitochondria, and next to it, after that split, I put the powerhouse of the cell. And then I go down to the left side again, under that, a little ways under once I'm done taking my notes. And then I go, oh, this is mitosis. And then I put next to it, shit splits, man, that's crazy. And then, I keep going like that. Great. Good. How is that useful, necessarily? Why not just do the bullet points? Like he was saying before, that he said, oh, do that, at least. Poo-poo, though, you need to do even better. Make the good big words. I'd rather just keep a character journal. Yeah. Honestly, me too.
Different color pens or highlighters, red for locations, blue for plot hooks, green for NPC names. Use symbols or marks in the notebook to help you find important stuff faster.
If that should help you, absolutely, that's fine. It's actually rather bad for timelines or other cause effects. That makes sense. So if the multicolored pens should help you, go for it entirely, but I can't help but think that it would take me time to find my pen. Like, yeah, sure, it would take me a couple of seconds, but, like, why not just write it down and then use symbols, like he's saying now, of, like, oh, this is, like, a little weird stick figure tree. This is environmental stuff. Oh, this is, like, a shield, a very basic triangular shield. Okay, this is for quest stuff. Just very easy things to do instead of going for different colors. While you're taking the notes and while the game is going on, you can go back and use the colors if you want to, I guess. I feel like that's a better use of your time if you're really focused on taking the notes while things happen. But yeah, I don't know.
Stars and butterflies and girly hearts. Make a cootie catcher while you're at it. Who says that notes have to go in a notebook? Blocks of text got you down? Use the mapping method and take visual notes. Diagram your notes in small boxes and connect related items with lines. These are often called mind.
Oh my goodness. Color coding is great until you color code in the wrong color just once. There's a video of George Lucas doing that. It is true. Yeah. Did the person who made the method go to Cornell or something? I don't know. Actually, Luke is editing this video, and he is far too busy to find and add B-roll at this time, so I shall once again ask you to ask me to Google mind map for you in the comments. Thank you for your patient understanding. I'm not going to do that. You're giving me homework that I don't need to do. I also don't know what we're talking about, because I got blinded by words, so I don't know what's going on. Are we bringing out the whole corkboard for this? Are we playing Delta Green? Yes, and yes. Oh, that was another thing to talk about. I'll talk about it after the video. It's fine. Anyway.
Mapping method and take visual notes. Diagram your notes in small boxes and connect related items with lines. These are often called mind maps. I'll even have my wonderful editor throw some fancy B-roll right here to show you what I mean. Draw a picture.
Okay, so he's the one who's editing it, right? but he said that his editor would, so he was hoping to give this out to his editor to do for him. And he couldn't be asked to quickly get, like, a picture of a mind map. Mind map. Examples. Whoa, crazy! Whoa! That was insane! Whoa! And guess what? It's fair use because you're using it in an educational purpose or as an example. Whoa! Come on. Okay. Okay, I would admit mind maps are not the worst for this because they are used to show relationships and causality. Yes, I think it's a good thing. My issue is the fact that he's not going to give you anything to, like, show what he's talking about. He's just going to tell you what it is and then move on, really. I don't know. It's really annoying to me when people just don't put in the effort when they say they need to put in the effort, like in the video itself. Unless it's done for comedic effect, and then it's completely different. It sounds like it's calling people lazy for just asking questions and not just using Google. I don't know. Here's the thing. You could probably look at Google and get a lot of the same stuff that he's talking about. Like, say, oh, how to take better notes into Google, and look it up yourself. But you don't have to. And if somebody's going to make a video telling you about these kinds of things, then I would expect the video to show me examples and give me descriptions on how those things are done. When I write a script, I make a slide of all the images I think I'll need to pull from other sources. Yeah, that's great. I believe it, Dave. After watching some of your stuff, I believe it. I get it. Absolutely. I think it's great. It's integrity, you know? While we're playing Vampire, and things are shared between the guys and me in the Discord server that we use for it, and our group chats and stuff, I go and I save them. I go and I pull them and I save them if they are part of what they need to be shown on the screen. Because some of the stuff is. So I go and I get it. Because I know that I'll need it for the actual edit. Like, yeah, editing me tomorrow is going to be tired as hell, and he's going to take his sweet-ass time to get through 3 hours of content in, like, 7 hours. But I'm at least going to throw as much stuff to editing me to make him succeed as much as I can. I don't know.
Pictures, make categories. Nothing is off limits.
Here's the other thing that really bugs me. I'm sorry. He watched this video back and put this in. He put this in instead of taking 2 seconds to Google it and get an image. To then put in the blank space, at least somewhere, to his left or his right, to show you what it is. Just so that you have an idea. An idea that you can then pause the video to look at instead of pausing the video to look at this fucking wall of text. And also,
that you may be tempted to think that...
What do you have in your description? I know you can't see the full thing, but I'm gonna look. Patreon, or something that he's made for sale. A store. What? Layers and Legend. That's another thing that he's made. A newsletter. The Discord that he has. A questions forum. A convention schedule. The tags here. And I don't know what this is. Oh, it's a description of what he has. Because He said something about an AI doing this for him. No examples, no links, nothing. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. A lot of people, in order to tell somebody about something, if they don't want to get into it in their video, they go, hey man, I'm going to link you to more resources in the video description. So if you have any interest in this, because I can't cover it right now, I don't think that I need to cover it in this video. I think somebody else can do a better job than me of explaining this. I'm going to put it in the description for you to go and look at, for you to go and research on your own. But I'm going to give you that push by putting it in the description for you if you want to go and find it. That's totally fine. You give them the information. God. If people did just use Google, then that would be less comments and engagement for him just saying. That's true. If people, comedy! Yes. One could argue that he's getting paid to do this and couldn't be bothered. Yup. Exactly, this is his job. Yup. I don't know, man. It really is rubbing me the wrong way real bad right now. Because I don't make good shit, but I put in the time, and I put in the effort as much as I can. And if I fuck it up, well, I feel bad about it, and I try to do better the next time when I'm making the videos, right? Hell, all of Devils and Dice was me just basically putting it into the timeline and just hitting render. Most of the time, adding, intro fade, outro fade, right? But like, yeah, I did a little bit here and there, but I'm upping my game as much as I can with Vampire, and I hope to do better with whatever we do next after that. And like, yeah, the show here is mostly me putting the thing into the timeline and putting pressing render, but like, that's the show is the way that it is. Like, I don't need to put editing into the show, because all of this is not. We don't need edits. We don't need music. The whole thing is just, it doesn't need that. Or the game stuff, that doesn't necessarily need anything. Like, when it's something that really does matter, in the sense of needing that kind of stuff, I'm gonna put in the work. Because I think it's important. But this fucking text wall pisses me off, man. Why are we not seeing his notes? Surely he has some old notes from previous campaign that he can show us. So why not present it for your video about notes? Yes! Hey! He's been doing this for years and years. He probably still has his old notes from when he started, or with closer to when he started, and he can show his improvements, even. Like, giving so much more than just these simple concepts, and actually showing, well, this is what I used to do before, and then I got better about it, and I started doing this. Like, and this has helped me, and it might help you, but there are other ways to do this, and let me go into those. I'm getting too worked up, dude. It's the first video. I'm getting too worked up. He's busy doing what to not get B-roll, buying more Old Spice for a guy he dislikes. Exactly. But what he did instead was make a fucking text thing. He took the time to make the text thing, put the shadows on it, so that it would show up and stand out, instead of just putting a fucking picture and then putting text under that and saying, this is an example of a mind map. Or just re-recording a little bit and saying, hey, this is editing Luke here. I didn't have anything to. I didn't have time while I was editing to get this out. The next day to get a mind map thing. So I've put in the description a website to show you what mind maps are and how you can do them. Anyway, back to the video. That's something like. I don't know, man. There's so many fucking options, and he chose this one. I don't want to be mean, but maybe the person who's going into your comments section and putting the bullet points has something to him. Like I don't want to be mean, but what the fuck, you know? Also, I looked at his Patreon while he was complaining about watch time. It was a little infuriating. Guy has like 4,000 members, but he complains about watch time on YouTube. Hey, man. Again, I get it as a valid concern for your job. I get that watch time is important, but when he's doing it in such a way to somebody like one person in the comments that I haven't even seen any evidence of, and yeah, you don't have to blast the guy, you know, whoever did it. You don't have to put like anything really to like, you can make it so that you can't see their profile and you have no idea where the actual comment is from and all of that kind of shit. That's fine, but you at least have got to show me some proof that the person is doing it maliciously if you're gonna act this way. Okay? Like, hey, I showed you guys in the beginning, we need more watch time to even think about having a shelf for products for an external site. Okay? Because I don't plan on putting ads into our content because I don't like that. If YouTube does it itself, I apologize if we ever get to the ability to do that. And I'll try to get it as ad-free as possible, because that's not the experience that I want you guys to have when you're watching our shit. If you want to pay us for any of the stuff we do, you can join the Patreon and the Ko-fi and all that other kind of stuff and buy the merch and whatever you want to do that way, because you are able to do that on your own time whenever you want to. Whenever you have the ability to, and you're not forced to watch an ad. You know? Like, I gotta get off my soapbox. I'm done.
Draw pictures, make categories. Nothing is off limits except being a moron. That's off limits. And do you know what the most moronic, brain dead thing you can possibly do is?
Please tell me.
Go to all this effort of taking notes and then not reviewing them. Now, you'd think that after all the effort of elevating yourself above the unwashed masses,
shut up.
Literally, I hope, you wouldn't return to your own vomit. Usually I'd tell you a story about my cat Squirty Pie right now, but I'll let you just use your imagination. What is the point of notes if you don't review them prior to your game session? Why take notes if when your dungeon master asks for volunteers to recap the last game session, you're hiding behind your dice tower and monster cans, eyes downcast just like everyone else?
What if I don't want to be in the center of attention? Like, what if I don't want to be the one that does that because maybe I haven't taken enough notes? Maybe I'm scared of the notes that I've taken being wrong. Maybe, in general, I don't have time to review the notes before I get to the session, so I'm reviewing them as we start so that I know where I'm at by the time we actually get started. Like, anything could be possible, is my point. And, yeah, reviewing the notes is something that you should be doing if you don't know things, but guess what? You can do that while you're playing the game so that you can make sure that you remember the things when they're relevant, because you go, ooh, I might have a note for that, you know? Or looking at them to, I don't know, man. Thanks for not doing ads, by the way. I can't, like, I physically can't put ads into the content anyway right now because of what I showed you in the beginning. But even so, I will do my very best to make it so that nothing gets ads on it, because it's boring and annoying. And it, like, while we're doing something, an ad might show up during the stream or something. And it might make it so you can't watch the thing. You know? I don't know. It would make it more incentivized to go and watch the VOD, I guess? I don't know. Hell, if you're using an ad blocker, like, there you go. You're fine, right? Like, I don't know. Anyway. Fucking who cares? This, like, yes, review your notes, but don't demonize people for not, like, reviewing their notes right before.
But don't just review your notes, transcribe them elsewhere for future reference.
Why?
And to reinforce them in your mind. Critically evaluate your notes from time to time. See where you can improve. Compare your notes with the notes of other players.
Okay, so some of that stuff, yeah, absolutely. Sure. In the sense of comparing and stuff, if you really want to make really accurate notes and such. But I don't need to transcribe my notes into another place necessarily, because I don't think that's something that, like, what if I don't have the time, man? I don't know. Compose your notes in the form of interpretive dance. Bonus XP if you're a bard. Yes, that's the way. Make it into a film. Make your notes into a film. Like, I don't... Understood. The mission is to keep being cringe so Alejo doesn't have to block the ads. There you go. I hate to be this guy, but dude, it's just D&D. These are complaints I would have as a teacher. This vitriol is not necessary. Yeah. I know, right? Like, I don't understand, like, I don't get why this is so, like, it's, again, he put it above all of the other mistakes that people have been making. By the way, making characters that are quote-unquote overpowered by min-maxing is not a mistake, it's a valid form of play. Like, come on. Can we mark D&D as more than a game? Yeah, if you want to, absolutely.
Rise above the unwashed masses.
Stop! Sorry. Something I've seen other DMs do is they have a volunteer recap what happened in the last session, typically awarding inspiration for it. Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't be dissing people for quote-unquote hiding behind their dice towers because they have all of these good notes. That's so fucked up. Who gives a shit? Like, shut up. Let people do whatever. Who hurt this man? I know.
Together. Yeah, you're right. I've gone too far. I should have just told you to buy a notebook and write anything down in it. But what can I say? I am a hopeless optimist. If you
what about this is what are you talking about? You could have done this in such a better way. What the fuck are you talking about? No one is asking you to just say, oh, buy a notebook and write down some notes in it. No one we were hoping for insight, which you did give some. Don't get me wrong. The points that I did agree with, I agree with because they are good points. But what the fuck are we doing?
Enjoyed this video and would like to support the content I create, you can do so by becoming a patron at the link below. Damn Layer patrons get loads of D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 content every month. Adventures, monsters, traps, puzzles, and other elements you can drag and drop into your ongoing campaign. We also have a new tier where you can video chat back and forth with me, asking me your questions directly. Anyway, that's what I think about player note-taking. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Did I miss something? Now, if you'd like to learn how to run social events the right way in your D&D games, check out this video.
The right way? There's a right way and a wrong way? Oh no. Hopeless optimist worrying about a comment stealing his watch time. Exactly. Boo's been saved from the abyss. Yeah, he would have been the one who would come to this show if he was going to. If I was going to have somebody else on the actual panel. Aiden wasn't going to be able to make it. Boo said maybe, and I'm glad he missed it, because this is shit. Like, again, the points that he made that I agreed with are good points. But, like, man, fuck me. The way that he's delivered all of this is horrible. Thank God it's over, video. That way he can't smell you.
Right here. And until next time, happy game mastering, or being a player, if you're a player. And don't hate me because I was making fun of stinky people.
No one gives a shit.
I shouldn't have done that.
No.
I'm a stinky person myself.
Why is this still going? He doesn't know how to end a joke. He really clings to the one thing, and just goes with it the whole time, man. No one gives a shit if you make fun of somebody who smells. That's fine, okay? People who smell might get a little bit sad, but guess what? Oh no! Wait a minute, was his tip write notes that work for you? No. But kind of? I don't know, man. Again, all of those things can help with, like, taking notes. Yes. I hate these thumbnails. I hate these thumbnails. They can help, but please deliver them in a way that isn't shit. That's all I'm asking, okay? I don't hate you. No one hates you. And no one is upset for... what I'm upset for is the fucking, like, the shit that you keep going on and on about because it's a dead horse that you just keep beating that wasn't even alive to begin with. You dug up a corpse of a horse that's been decayed. It's barely recognizable. And you started to just beat it. Boo hates him? That is true. I'm going to show up to one of the guys' sessions with someone I hired to take notes for me. Hey, there you go. That would solve every problem, apparently. I don't know. Could only think of one joke, had to milk it for all it was worth. Hey, man. Maybe just don't do jokes. I don't know. You know? The hell did I just watch? That was the DM layer, as you know. He needs someone to proofread his stuff, maybe a better editor. Well, he was the editor of that one, so only he is to blame. He has another editor for other stuff. You see him sometimes. He puts that little figure in sometimes, so I don't know, man. It's just weird. And the video sucks just for the amount of information that he does not give. And just says, just Google it. It's fine. Like, again, it's a 9-minute video. That could easily have been 15 minutes if he had put more effort in. Needed to pad out that runtime. Yeah, you would think you would go into, like, examples or, I don't know, any sort of notes that he's taken himself or, like, anything. Alright. So that's that. Let's wash our hands of that video. I didn't think that one would be so bad. I really didn't. I thought that one would be pretty easy as a slam dunk. Okay. So we're gonna cover Bob next. You all know Bob. We covered him a while back. There we go. Cool. Oh, looking sick, Bob. So we're going to go into one house rule for easy roleplay in D&D. That's brought to us by Bob Worldbuilder himself, the man, the Bob. You know the Bob. We're going to talk about a house rule for easy roleplay. Bob, run. No. Now Bob can do it. Bob is not always bad. Don't worry. Bob can definitely do good videos. This is a fact. Okay? I just want to know what his house rule is. Because I don't think roleplay is that hard, necessarily. But it is something that can be more difficult to keep up with for some people than others. Like, it's not no fault of their own. It's just sometimes, you know, doing this stuff isn't as easy for some people to, like, improv and all of that, right? And to really come up with responses and everything. Like, and it's, again, however you roleplay is perfectly valid. You know, if you don't say things in first person, if you just say, oh, I'm going to say something like this, to really try to get my point across, you know, all that kind of stuff. Every way to do it is easy. Is that Matt Mercer in the background? That is. That's Matt Mercer right there. Why is Matt Mercer at Comic-Con on the background computer? Sorry, the background monitor? What are we doing? Oh, My Alexa thing heard me say computer. We're good. Never mind. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. It would have been an easy slam dunk, but he had tied his shoelaces together. True. He does have the best hair and showers. Blessings upon his hair. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Let's find out some stuff about Bob, about what he has for us. This video is also 9.5 minutes almost, and I would assume if it's the one topic, is going to be way easier to explain and be more in depth about and have more examples for, because again, Bob is usually pretty good at that, except for that one video that we did with Juice.
What's up, gamers? Are you tired of not being able to roleplay like Matthew Mercer, Brennan Lee Mulligan, or some other professional actor who you should totally not compare yourself or your fellow players to? Stop that. That's not helpful. But in this video, I am going to share a few helpful suggestions, starting with one ridiculously simple house rule. Like, I kind of came up with this accidentally, but one house rule that, as a GM, will basically trick your players into naturally elevating their in-character descriptions. Or if you're a player wanting to boost your own role-playing skills, you don't actually need your GM to approve this house rule, because it really just comes down to a simple shift in your mindset. Let's get into it.
Okay, so it's not a house rule. Okay. See, Bob cuts his joke before it overstays its welcome. True. Absolutely. I don't want to admit how long it took me to realize he wasn't saying Matt Mercer can't roleplay. Oh, yeah, no. No. And this is the thing that a lot of people say. Yeah, you shouldn't compare yourself to people who are professional actors when you're trying to roleplay, because one, what we're doing is not necessarily like, it doesn't need to be that high level. But I would say, here's a little bit of a controversial thing. It might not be controversial at all, in fact, is to say, hey, if you want to improve your role-playing, and you want to take inspiration from these people who are professionals, and you want to use that as a fuel to try and make yourself even better at role-playing in the ways that they have shown, by being off the cuff and all of that, and you want to utilize that by watching them and learning from them in that way, then that's totally fine. You aren't necessarily, as long as you aren't putting yourself down every time you aren't exactly as good as Matt Mercer or Brennan Lee Mulligan, I think it's fine to use them as examples to have comparison, or to compare to, right? That's fine. I thought you were gonna say you need a house. Go full Garibay. Actually, if you want to be better at being a dungeon master, you need a house. God damn it. No. Or take an acting class to get better. Well, not even that. Like, you just need to get more comfortable with improv and the social situations. You know, it just takes experience. That's all it takes. The more that you do this, the easier it becomes, and the easier it is to find your niche in how to roleplay, right? Because, again, like I said, if you're more of the descriptive kind of role player, in the sense of, I will say that my character is going to try and describe to this NPC a little bit about the reasons as to why they should let us into the city. And they're going to use the danger that might be out here. They're going to use the fact that I have several people here who need to that really need to eat and drink and have medical attention. You know, like, you're that kind of descriptive role player. Or you're saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna talk to the guy, and I'm gonna say, so hey man, I know you're doing a great job guarding the town and everything, but like, we're not a threat, okay? We're just trying to get inside before it becomes night, because we're not going to cause any trouble, and everything's going to go fine, but I do need to, like, get my people in there so that we can, like, take care of these bandaged wounds and everything, like, redress the wounds and all this. Like, or you go third person and say, Zalthor says that we need to get into the thing. Like, however you do it, you'll figure it out as you keep going. So just keep trying until you find what feels natural to you. Anyway.
I call this homebrew the blank check, and it's kind of a punny name, so just bear with me. Instead of assigning a specific stat or skill to a check, you leave it blank and allow the player facing the challenge to use any stat for the roll as long as they can provide a reasonable description of how their character uses the chosen attribute. Thumbs up for getting to the point in almost the first minute of the video, but here's the thing. The blank check sounds simple because it is. Many games even suggest playing like this. However, for some reason, no D20 fantasy TTRPG that I've ever seen actually uses this idea in their rulebook or adventure modules as the default approach to checks and saving throws.
Okay. So, okay. Now, okay. So, we're already throwing D&D and other, D20 systems under the bus, which is weird. Now, I understand that it's not the norm for them. And it doesn't have to be, I guess, is my immediate thought. What are we, so you can do it this way if you want to. That's why it's a homebrew, like, idea, and rule. I don't know what, so, we play Vampire right now. We're in our Vampire campaign, and what you do in Vampire is take attributes and you take skills and you add them together as a die pool. So say you have 2 strength, 2 pips in strength, and 4 pips in athletics. And the storyteller says, hey, if you're gonna try to go through this area and you're trying to be quick about it, and you're really trying to push yourself to kind of catch up with somebody, then give me strength and athletics, and we'll see how you do. And then you add them together, you roll it out, and all that kind of stuff. Or you, as the player, could then say, actually, could I, instead of using strength, use dexterity, so that I'm not necessarily pushing through, but I am trying to dip and weave and use the terrain in such a way that I'm more so avoiding the obstacles rather than trying to go over and through them. And your storyteller might say, oh, yeah, okay, you can use dexterity instead. Sure, why not? Because those games, they do that. They let you do that and everything. And it's kind of freeform in that kind of way. With D&D, you can still do that, but everything is pretty easy to associate skills and attributes to, you know? Hell, in the actual material for, like, intimidation, they say, hey, instead of using charisma, if you're trying to intimidate via your size of your character and, like, their strength, you can use strength instead, which already gives you the idea, oh, well, maybe I'll do that. So instead of using, one stat for one skill, I might be able to use different stats for that same skill. Say somebody needs to do a medicine check. Let's say there's a couple different situations where I could say a different stat is being used for medicine. To actually practically heal someone, or at least assess their condition, perhaps we would go with wisdom. But alternatively, I could see intelligence being used because they're going into they're trying to pull information that they've learned out of like textbooks or whatever the like and saying, oh, this fits these symptoms. Maybe they have this, instead of actually looking at the person themselves, right? Let's go with deception. Okay, with deception, you can use charisma to make it as suave and easy to understand as possible. Or maybe you could use wisdom instead to say, oh, instead of doing it in a way that's trying to sleaze past them in some way, I'm actually going to try to use what I can observe about them, what they are like, their temperament is, and everything like that, to give them a lie that fits more so to the situation that they believe might be more probable here. So instead of schmoozing my way past the guard to let me into the city, saying, hey, yeah, man, don't worry about it. We've all actually been in here before many a time. It's just that this time you just have never seen us before, because every time we're going through, you're not on guard, on duty, right? It's just the way that it works. You know how shift changes are and all that kind of stuff. We just were out a little too late, right? That's your schmoozing kind of way. With the wisdom deception check, it might be, oh, okay, so hey Mr. Guard, it's been a long day. I know you're upset that we're trying to get through when curfew's already up, but my friends here are actually coming down with something. They're coming down with sickness, and if you don't let us in, it's going to be kind of on your head if they should die out here, and because they can't defend themselves. And I'm sure that your captain is not going to have a great time if some of us survive and actually tell them the next morning. You know, it's a different form that could be charisma or could be wisdom. You know, to see like, oh, this guy is real mad at us, and it seems like, I don't know, maybe you should have taken into account the fact that we're out here in the dangerous land and somebody could be dying, and that we're trying to get in like now. You know, I don't know. Mez would charm the hell out of that guard. He wasn't great at charisma. He was good at intelligence. But regardless, like, I think that them giving you that option, at least in 5e, gives you the idea that can be done, right? They don't do that because it puts the onus on the DM to identify checks and create thresholds, which is way too vague for a rulebook. So the way that other systems do it, they make it so that the system really works with that. And that's just not what D&D wants to do with its system. And again, I don't think that it's necessary to make it like every other system. Because, yeah, I prefer how Vampire does skills and checks. I really do. More so than D&D or any of the D20 stuff that I've played so far. But is it better because of it inherently? No. I prefer it. Right? So I don't know why we're doing this towards D&D and other things like Pathfinder and other things like that. Other than to dig at D&D and Pathfinder and all of that. So,
they always write in some specific stat, which inevitably constricts the imagination of the GM and players about how that challenge.
Inevitably? You know this for certain. Are you only talking about new players? Because experienced players might be able to break that mold. And is it not better for the newer players to follow the rules so that they understand the system before they start experimenting with something they don't necessarily understand? I don't know.
Challenge can be faced. So again, even though many games and modules tell you that you can try anything, they don't really encourage it. But this house rule...
Well, so why wouldn't them saying that you can try anything be the encouragement that you need? You know? Actually, in 3.5, intelligence is more important than charisma for a diplomat, because you can use it to get more synergies. That is true. Synergies are good. Skill synergies are very good in 3.5. He had a few of them. Mez did.
Does, because for me, being able to try anything, that's where the magic is. So there's a bit more to unpack here. Some important context. I came up with this idea a couple months ago when I was writing this little adventure, Witch's Word, Dragon's Doom, link below, because I needed a custom one-shot to run several times in a row at a tiny RPG convention, a gathering, if you will. And even though it's a low-level adventure and it's for Shadowdark, which can be pretty gritty, I wanted it to feel epic, heroic, just to really get my players excited. So in the first encounter, the party starts standing on this very tall, teetering monolith. Yes, I stole this right from the Fellowship of the Ring when the boys are escaping Moria, but instead of goblins, I got kobolds, and instead of lava, I got a forest far beneath them with vines hanging all around. And I don't know if I had just never...
So, I really hope that this isn't mostly just a, I made this adventure thing kind of video. Because I agree that you can do this as a, like, the whole quote-unquote blank check rule can be something that you can use if you want. But I fear these days, you know? I'm becoming more and more cynical as we continue the show. And I really hope this isn't just, I made a thing that you can buy. Please don't be that. Like, for the most part.
Ever written an adventure or seen an adventure module before that had assigned a specific stat for swinging on vines? But for the life of me, I could not decide whether I should write that in as a strength check or a dex check. Because, yeah, you gotta be strong to leap and push off a ledge while holding your entire weight on this vine, or you could be leaping all nimbly-bimbly from vine to vine, or, wait, here's where I knew I was onto something.
Well, you could do both. You could put both in there. Like, you could put it as both, whichever they prefer, first off. So, what? Okay.
You could rely on wisdom to intuit the best route through the canopy, or even intelligence to quickly assess the health of the vines and know which one will provide the most support. And so, I still assigned a numerical DC to this check, but I didn't assign a specific stat to this check or any of the checks in this adventure, ipso facto, the blank check. Now imagine this opening scene. The room shakes as the dragon barrels up from its lair somewhere behind your party, collapsing the stone walkway around.
We have to be careful with the usage of clips from The Lord of the Rings. I know he got away with it, but you gotta be careful, man. Sure, I get it. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you're playing with fire, even though it's a small clip, has no music and everything like that. It's just, it's whatever. Dragon's Doom, don't like Talathorn or Cornell, hear you say that? Are we getting a tree Balrog out of this? I want a tree Balrog.
Around you and leaving you all stranded on a teetering monolith. Vines hang everywhere, a forest grows far beneath you, and close by to your left and right are 4 stone balconies, 2 holding chests with unknown treasures, and 2 holding little angry reptile men with blades and rocks at the ready, while a whole gang of reptilians waits on the lower platform ahead, blocking your escape. One of them's about to cast a spell, another is feebly trying to turn a crank that will lower a portcullis over the exit. You're acting first. What do you do? Whoa! Okay, I definitely want to get off this platform, and you know me, I'm heading for the nearest chest, so I guess I'll try swinging on a vine instead of just jumping, but I'm really bad at dex. What do I need to roll for this? Well, you don't need to roll with a specific stat. You can use anything if you give me a reasonable description for how your character does it. Oh? Then with my keen mind, I know that there are a few different species of vines growing here. Yes, anchor ivy, known for its strong roots and durability.
Okay, so I don't necessarily have an issue with this as like the scenario. My question is, does it make sense for the character to know these things? Are we absolutely going to concede that, like, I know he said in a reasonable way you have to do this. My question is, when is it unreasonable? Is it only in the very, like, niche circumstances that you could easily say, oh yeah, I just know these things, you know? Like, it's unreasonable for very little information, and unreasonable for, like, crazy asks. But I could make an argument for most every situation, I guess, for a lot of stats. The reason why they put the stat there is so that you don't have to make it so that it's, like, you don't have to do a... What is... Oh,
sorry.
Hello.
Sorry, when you said a, I thought you were saying a, but with a slight thing because you just went silent. I'm like, oh shit, are you talking to me or are you just saying something?
Hey, no.
Hello.
Well, hey, welcome.
Hello.
You missed the first video, and that's probably for the best.
That's fine. I was so tired.
Yeah, fair enough. Right now we're looking at one house rule for easy roleplay in D&D from Bob Worldbuilder, and right now the house rule that he has made is a thing that he did for a module that he made for Shadow Dark, which is, instead of putting stats, he just put DCs and no stat next to it to say, oh, you can use whatever, which is fine. It's fine as a concept. It's fine as something you can use. You can do this in any game if you really want to, thinking outside of the box and using any stat. But my concern so far is just, I can make an argument for basically any stat. So, like, and I get that it's anything that's an unreasonable thing is something that you can't be allowing as a DM. Sure, I get that. But again, it could probably be reasonable about a lot of different stats.
So, I do apologize to pull away from this.
You're fine.
First off, my biggest concern there would be if I'm just putting a DC or a difficulty requirement, I'm gonna forget what the hell it's for.
Well, it's just the it's the, hey, you go to a vine. In this example, it's swinging on vines. So,
I was about to say, Vine died a long time ago.
Nice.
Let it die.
And so the vine in the book, it would say, like, to swing on a vine, it needs a DC 12 check.
Okay.
Which, again, you could put whatever stat in that place. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't think forgetting what it's for is necessarily too big a deal.
Yeah, because when you said that like that, I was like, what I was thinking was, you describe the situation, you go to a house, and then the characters need to break in, and then you have, like, DCs for different things. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell are all these different DCs for?
Right, I get what you're saying.
I thought, but I remember from the, because I saw the thumbnail in the Discord, and the first one is taking better notes.
Yeah, it was.
How was
it? No. It was.
Do
like,
I even want to know how?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I was gonna say, how the hell would that concept piss me off?
He had reasonable points, but he conveyed it very poorly. Had a one joke that he dug into the ground and buried it even deeper, and nope. Nope.
Okay.
You can save yourself. You're good.
I will.
Um,
I will save myself from.
yes.
No, I won't.
Anyway, so but yeah, Draco Kraken puts it well. Yeah, it's true. Jayla, yes. Hello. Also, okay. Well, gone. Never mind. But he didn't even show like notes or anything. His examples, he said, "Oh, go Google it." A lot of the time, it was very annoying.
Oh.
Yeah. I got real pissed. Anyway, yeah. How would it piss you off? DM layer always finds a way. True.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, no,
yeah.
if it was DM layer. No,
it was
yeah,
DM layer. That's
all you had to say, honestly.
But so Dragon Kraken says, in my experience, newer players will not naturally gravitate towards that style of thinking. Most play like it's a video game with defined parameters. Yes. I agree that newer players aren't going to benefit from this necessarily. This is definitely like made for experienced players. And absolutely. That's fine to have as your as what you want to create. A house rule for more experienced players to get into role-playing easier, I guess. At the same time, if they're experienced enough to be considered experienced, however you want to put that as your prerequisite, whatever years of experience you want or whatever, do they need this?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, with a newer player, I would want to show them, I will want to say, in this case, if I want it to be a physical skill, I would say strength or dex. Like, I don't have to just pick one. If I want it to be another skill, another set of skills, I then say, oh, intelligence or wisdom. You know, like, it's, you can give two different stats to make it so that they can pick whatever one's best, and also that there should be some things that not everyone can do.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I understand that we want them to succeed, but I also think maybe we should also breed the sense of creativity of tackling these problems in more unique ways than saying, oh, I can just do that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, big barbarian is very good at strength. Little shitty wizard don't have good strength. But you need to cross the ravine on this vine, and the only way to do it is to hold on real good so that you don't fall off until you need to, right? Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Big barbarian with the big strength might be able to carry my fucking wizard across as well. Makes it a little harder, maybe, but it's a better chance than the wizard trying to go and do it himself when he has a shit strength. And it promotes that kind of sense of teamwork a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And also just creative thinking. You will absolutely flourish in this hobby if you can do creative thinking.
Exactly.
And critical thinking, I should say, as well.
Both, yeah, absolutely. And like the like presenting them with the option of, yeah, you can just like use whatever skill you want and give me a good reason. It's like, well, okay, if they're new, they might not know all of this stuff, or they might not be like experienced enough in improv or anything to really come up with a good reason.
Yeah, because it does take at least a little bit of time to fully put yourself in the world and actually really imagine yourself in that scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, to a degree, I'm like, yeah, this is fine and great, right? But to a degree, I'm like, well, who are you making this for, you know?
The people that you are making it for would be confused by it, and the people that you aren't making it for don't need it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Juice, I see you in chat. Right back to
Juice,
Bob, World Builder. Didn't learn our lesson the first time. This isn't that bad. He did already do his dig on D20 systems. He already did that, but like, I'll be honest, I don't know why, but no, I do. But like at the same time, it's just like I'm fine with him trying to create something that makes it so that the system is a little bit different. Like a homebrew is fine. It's not a big deal. The reasons for it, I don't know.
Honestly, though, if you put a D20 system in front of me and you put a skill-based system in front of me, I will pick the skill-based system every time.
Exactly. That's what I was saying before. I have the bias because I prefer it, but it's not that it's better necessarily, right? Objectively speaking, they're both fine. They're not any better than the other. Anyway. Oh, right. What are you saying, Alejo? That we should encourage teamwork? I know.
Yeah.
It's a horrible idea. Little shitty wizard Lamau. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, this is my fault. Alejo was talking him up. I was sitting at a wooden desk, and I didn't think to knock on it. True. Yeah, true. Skill-based system? You mean percentiles? No, just in general. Skill-based systems, like Vampire is a skill-based system as well. It doesn't use percentiles necessarily. It just uses
a skill-based system can be separated from it's a class-based system, not D20.
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty much all. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Where if in a skill-based system you tend to have a job rather than, an MMO style class.
Yes, exactly.
That's all.
Yep.
There's more to it than that, but yeah, that's the greatest thing that separates them.
Yeah.
Here goes nothing. Done. It encourages creative problem solving and then immediately turns it into roleplay. And like I said, this house rule works for saving throws too. In the first session I tested this when a character was attacked by a swarm of spiders and they needed to save against poison. Instead of just enduring the poison with Constitution, they described their character rapidly and dexterously brushing off the swarm before the poison could reach its full potency.
But they were hit, weren't they?
Unfortunately, because I'm playing Monster Hunter and I still had the watch together set really low because Cold Dead Hands is kind of a loud song.
It is. I always have it really low.
I couldn't hear any of that.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just saying, his next example is just the character was going to get poisoned by a bunch of spiders, and instead of using Constitution, he used Dexterity to brush them all off before they got him, I guess. But
okay, sure.
That's fine, but
yeah.
I don't know. Sure, I guess.
This is really just something that comes to mind in a skill-based system.
Yeah.
Just as a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing this. I'm going to give you multiple options to do something.
Yeah.
As long as those are, feasible.
Yeah, exactly. Which, again, I'm fine with doing in D&D, or any D20 system. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but I'm also just wondering why we would necessarily need to, for every single thing.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. You don't have to and shouldn't have to for every single thing. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now again, I don't know. It's fine if it works in the context. I just immediately am like, well, so if you wrote it in such a way that it's just like, oh yeah, save or get poisoned, this is the thing, choose your stat and then explain yourself. I go, okay, that's fine. But if it goes, you're getting bitten by spiders, how do you resist the poison? I go, they've already bitten me.
Yeah, I can't really do that.
But again, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. That's not how it's written. Okay, I'll at least do that. It's just, I don't know.
Can I please hit the thing? Thank you.
So yeah, it's a little min-maxy. You get to be strategic about it, but in the most creative way possible that automatically creates a fun description. However, the most important thing about giving someone a blank check is having a mutual understanding to be reasonable.
Yeah.
So another example, also from the first session I tried this, one of my players, sarcastically, described his character using strength to keep watch overnight by flexing his eyeballs. Now, my group already has a mutual understanding about being goofy but being reasonable, so we all laughed, and then I said, no, but I suggested a tiny retcon. Maybe you could have used your superior strength to cut down extra firewood earlier, meaning you got a nice bright campfire that makes it easier to see your surroundings. That sounded reasonable to me, but the player decided to try a different approach anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that doesn't... To keep watch... Oh, okay, to keep... for a second there, I thought of it like staying awake, but I was wrong. Sorry. Again, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I don't like that. The deck should come into play as part of your AC when you're trying not to get hit. I agree with you on that. Sure. Yeah. It again, this is a case by case basis, really. Because like in D&D or in any TTRPG, I'm fine with you saying, well, actually, could I use this instead because it actually worked? Because like I gave a bunch of examples of different ways to use charisma and like or sorry, not to use different skills for deception and different skills for medicine, using different stats, because it might be more so one than the other in the way that you approach something, right? Identification rather than investigation, in the sense of medicine with wisdom and medicine with intelligence, right? Identifying the symptoms rather than investigating the actual patient, right? And so and again, I think it's completely easy and clear for you to get that if you think about, like what I said, in intimidate, in using strength instead of charisma. Yeah. Like that already gives you the idea. So you can then just extrapolate from that. As long as you've read it and as long as you've thought about it, you can easily do it. And I'm pretty sure anybody who's running something that is reasonable about it, that you can then convince with a reasonable argument, can then go, oh yeah, use that. Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The blank check thing, excuse me, might work better when used sparingly instead of every time there is a check. Yes, I think so as
absolutely.
Well. Yep. I think there should be hard and set things as well as things that can be not hard and set. More open, that's the word. Reminds me of the Star Wars Final Fantasy, wow, Fantasy Flight Games dice pool system. People try to describe things to get mechanical advantages a bit much at times. Yeah, that's fair. Of course, I'm also willing to have bad things happen to my characters. Me too. That's fair.
And that makes me think of a similar a dice pool in 7th Sea, where you've got a whole bunch of... It's actually very similar to Vampire in the way the skills and attributes are set up.
Yeah.
But the thing that is neat about it is the game actually really wants you to be weird with your skills and be wacky and crazy with them. So if you do... Let's say you're walking up to a guard and you want to pass by him. You always roll skills and checks in a combination of skill attribute.
Yep.
And it's actually just like Vampire.
Yep.
But what's interesting is that I believe if you keep rolling skills, like if you in the scene or in the exact moment, if you keep rolling skills, but you do them in different combinations, you get either bonus die or you don't take any penalties at all.
Huh. Okay.
So, for example, let's say you're... this is a better example. If you're in a sword fight and you're starting it off as, like, a fencer, you open up with, like, the classic swashbuckling shit.
Yeah.
And then, if you fail or if you, succeed that, you'd be like, okay, well, since I did my fencing, I'd love to transition into a more brutal style and not... strength and swordsmanship as opposed to dexterity swordsmanship.
Right.
And then you would get a bonus die for that because of a reason. Maybe in this context, it would be the guy was, ready for you to be a fencer. He was not ready for you to be like a brutal fucking, you're slamming your sword into him.
Right.
With both hands.
Yeah.
And so he was just not prepared for it. And that is a really, really interesting way to do your skills because it keeps the action very, very fresh and also kind of cinematic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I actually really like that system a lot. And that is hard baked into the game. That's not a house rule.
Right. Yeah, so it's done, and like you said in the beginning, it's done in a lot of different games. It's put out there as part of the rule set, like how Vampire is that way too, of if you can make the reasonable thing of this attribute and this skill, go for it, Um, but D&D and other D20 systems don't usually do that as a default. But especially with 5e being a thing, I would say that it's in there. So it's the optional
5e
rule.
being a thing, I think you mean 5.5 being
No.
a thing. That's the popular. That's the new one.
Right, yeah, that's true. That's the new one. That's the one.
That is certainly the new one,
Yep.
not the popular one.
But even so, like it is already baked in there as an optional rule that gets you to then say, oh, okay, it is there. So why wouldn't I be able to do that in that game? Because it is. So I guess it's I wanna give credit in the sense of getting people to think more about doing things in different ways is good. I like that as an idea and a concept, but what I don't think we need to do is create a system like this, a house rule like this, instead of utilizing what's already in the system that is there to give you the same effect, more or less. And doesn't make it so that if you're brand new and don't know anything, you just go, needing to have the DM then prompt the person with, well, if you use this, then this, like, I again, that's not necessarily an issue, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessary to the experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't worry, Final Fantasy XII is basically Star Wars. Oh, well, there you go.
And another caveat, at least at my table, charisma is probably not going to work on anything besides NPCs and monsters. But let me know in the comments if you can think of a reasonable way to charismatically swing on a vine. Maybe they once wooed an acrobat who taught them a helpful technique, but even then it kind of becomes intelligence. So you're trying to make the creative ideas work, but know that as usual, it's limited by reason and GM approval. That's how the game is supposed to work. GM describes the scene, player describes how their character interacts with it, GM describes what really happens, maybe with a dice roll. What you're not supposed to do, and I don't want to pull a your fun is wrong or anything, but it does really take me out of the moment when someone says, I want to insight check this guy. Or
oh god, okay, alright.
Seriously?
Come on. I'm sorry that it does. I'm sorry that it does for you, but I don't like. How? Like, am I supposed to, as the DM, am I supposed to prompt them? Hey, you could insight check them now, while I'm still giving my mid speech or something. I don't know. Like what? Yeah. Like what? What am I like? I don't see the problem with a player saying, "Oh, could I insight check this? I don't trust the guy." Like it doesn't make any sense.
Why is it so common to run into this?
I know. I don't get it, because how else am I supposed to get people to naturally say that I want to
do something?
That I want to use this skill to figure out if the guy,
what he is susceptible to.
I just
Man, I sure do hate it when the players are invested in the world and the characters and are asking a legitimate question.
Yeah. Like,
God, it's so boring.
Do I trust this guy? It's like, you can roll an insight check. Is that better, Bob? Like, if the player says, is it okay?
Why does every D&D creator, not you, Juice, I assume, have like 5 minutes to play?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's not even the issue. The issue is that he's taken out of the experience because of a question.
Oh.
Or a statement, excuse me. I would like to insight check that guy.
Oh,
like,
my God, I'm so out of it.
I really need to understand what the natural, good, actual way that we're supposed to do it is. Because he said, I don't want to say you're doing the fun wrong, but, and then goes into it. It's like, well, then what's the proper way? I guess you're going to tell me. I hope. Please tell me the proper way.
I hope.
Because otherwise, I don't understand what we're doing here at all. I use charisma to swing because of my years of pole dancing experience. Yep, there you go.
Hell yeah.
That works. I seduced the vine to throw me at the kobolds or whatever Bob said was attacking. That's right. Bob is bugging me lately. Fair enough. I bet it is because Bob is improvising his NPCs, and when they do that, it puts him even more on the spot, and he isn't ready for it or something. No, I don't even think it's that. I just, for some reason, people seem to be averse to the idea of saying that out of character when it's really in character. You know?
Yeah.
Because they can't seem to understand that it's a way to express the internalized thoughts of the character saying, "Ooh, I don't know if I trust this guy."
Yeah. Plus, like when you say that, I know what you mean. If you
Yes.
say I want to roll insight, I know that you mean I don't fully believe what this guy is saying.
Yes.
I would like to examine him further.
Exactly.
It's way easier to say I want to roll insight
Yes.
than all of that spiel.
Exactly.
Especially considering I know it's not just you saying I roll insight on the guy or I charm him.
Yeah. And even
it's not even to that degree.
and even with the insight check, like the classic thing that I've done it. I've been in groups that do it because it's funny and we all get it. It's fine. Like, it's the quick way to, instead of saying, I don't trust that guy, to say, oh, I don't trust that guy, but with just 2 words. Insight check. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just easy.
It is.
You think it's how someone words it and not the skill use itself? Yes, I do believe that that's it. I do honestly believe that that's the issue that people take with it, not the skill. Absolutely not. That would be crazy if it was the skill.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Really the worst of all for me, as someone who loves the try anything mindset. Well, I'm not very good at the skill that I need for this challenge, so I guess I can't do anything. I guess there's nothing I could possibly try in this game of imagination. So if you like it that way.
Yeah, okay, so nobody fucking thinks that because they try to think around the situation, not like only be like
Nobody does that even in real life. If I present you with a heavy box and tell you to fucking move it, you're not going to be like, well, I can't lift this over my head. Guess it's impossible.
Yeah, excuse me, I guess I'll push it. I don't know. Or I guess...
Yeah, you'll push it, or you'll find something else to push it or lift it.
It really depends on the parameters of the situation, but absolutely I will try my best to figure it out until I cannot do it. In which case, I will then go, oh, okay.
I don't think I either can't do this or I need help.
Yes.
In which case, if you just needed help, you still could do it. It's just you need help.
Exactly. So, like, what?
Oh, you lied.
Who's... You're a liar. So who, Bob, who are we talking about that says, oh, I've been presented with a situation of which I am not adequately prepared. Guess I can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
This is no player I've ever heard of whatsoever.
Yeah, this is a whole new... This is a pine straw, man. It's like weaker than a regular one.
Exactly, because like any player you go and you put a situation in front of will try to weasel their way out of it in any way.
That too.
In any fucking way they can, whether it's be suggesting different skills or different stats or whatever. They will attempt to do anything to get by in some way.
Players are also, you'll find this if you DM for long enough with people that you know for sure.
Yeah.
Players tend to be very good hagglers.
Also true.
Where you're like, I don't have the skill for this, but could I do it with this? Because blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
You know?
And that comes with experience, as you said. So, like... if you're talking about brand new people, yeah, you throw something at them, they have no idea how the game works, so they go, oh, I can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Because they haven't learned anything yet. And you then get to teach them, oh, well, hey, man, don't worry about it. You might be able to do something besides that to maybe get through the situation. Like, just, come on, man. Just anything. Anything, please.
Anything?
Anything.
Anything.
Guys, we just replace I want to roll insight with, yo, he acting sus as fuck. That's right.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. I think it is more the skill personally, because some DMs want to keep their secrets until they're ready to unveil it. first off, if that's the case, then nobody would want to like ever have insight be a thing, because it's not like it's an auto pass of like you get to learn everything about the other person, right? Nobody thinks that, right? Unless they're brand new, they have no idea how to do anything, right? Where they think diplomacy is just you auto get to do whatever you want. Yeah, it's charm person.
Yes,
like that. I wouldn't put that in front of anybody who's an experienced DM. I think it's literally just the way that it's presented, as people just say this shit and it takes me out of the moment because they're saying it and it's a meme and people say it too much, and instead of like really going into the situation, you know? Even AI chatbots break the rules when put in impossible situations. Yes, exactly.
That's very true.
Haggling is fun. Yes.
Yeah.
I would argue a lot of DMs do not know how to react to insight checks. You would have to give me actual like a lot of data, because I cannot just take that as fact. I can't. I'm sorry. Like you would really need to prove that to me. I don't know how you could, but I don't. I don't know. I know you hate generalities. Well, yeah, because they are useless most of the time. I'm sorry, but they are. Like, what are you supposed to, like, oh, everyone does this. It's like, well, not everyone. What do you mean? Like, why would you assume that?
Don't.
You know, like it's
but I do.
if you say a majority of people do such a thing, I'd be like, okay, that's more reasonable. I can more buy that. You know? And when you're saying a lot of DMs do not know how to react to it, I just go, oh, okay. We only have anecdotal evidence on this specifically. So then that's fine to have, but I don't know how you could prove it in such a way that would be sufficient, in the sense of like, yeah, there's a lot of people who might do that, sure, but like, I don't know. What are we supposed to, like, how are we supposed to do this if we're assuming that most people don't know how to react to insight checks? It's like, well, how did we get to this situation? Like, what has happened in the sense of playing these games that people have not learned how to react to an insight check? You know?
Well, hilariously, I feel like Juice is onto something, at least in one respect, where people don't know how to react to insight checks the way that they were intended to be done in D&D specifically, because they're not what you think.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because the way an insight check was supposed to work in D&D 5e, it was never supposed to show you, it was never supposed to be a information reveal.
Yeah.
It was always supposed to be, oh, this person is receptive to intimidate or charm or bluff. That's what it was.
Is it?
And they still had to roll that check to gain whatever information they wanted. That's actually what it was.
I would have to look at it again. I guess I might be just misremembering what insight checks are.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody does that.
Yeah. Let me actually look into it real quick then.
If I remember right, I found that out in a Z Bashu video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I don't have I don't have any 5e stuff on this computer. That's right.
Ooh.
Hang on. I can get it real quick. Insight 5e. So, according to I just need to look at the actual fucking words, please. Insight. There we go. That'll work. Okay. That does not give me any words, actually. Okay. All right.
Oh.
It was Roll20 and it just didn't give me any words.
Oh.
Okay. Hang on.
It's a weird place to not find any words.
Yup. Handbook. Okay. Player's Handbook. Here we go. 5th edition. Give me a second. Okay. So search insight. That didn't fucking help me. Okay. Alright, what's my table of contents? Hang on. Sorry, everybody. I need to educate myself. Where?
Fucking apply yourself.
That's right. Skills are somewhere around here. Why are skills not here? Is it under ability checks? That can't be right. I don't know. 172. To then go, yep. And then, oh yeah, skills. Okay, here we go. So wisdom? Yes, insight. Okay. Oh. Okay, here we go. So, wisdom, insight. Your wisdom insight checks decides whether you can determine the true intentions of a creature, such as when searching out a lie or predicting someone's next move. Doing so involves gleaning clues from body language, speech habits, and changes in mannerisms. So no, you are not right. That's not.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What was the edition he was talking about?
I don't know. That's
Maybe he was talking about a different skill.
I don't know. But that insight is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that's how
So
it's
it
always
is
been.
it is what everybody thinks
Yeah.
it is. Okay. At least in 5e.
Um,
What was it? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. It says you can
Oh, well.
seek out the true intentions of a character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I read. Now that doesn't mean that you get to. What does that mean specifically? It means the intentions behind what they're saying.
Yeah. Didn't you read the words?
Yeah, that's what the true intentions behind actions and like what their intention is behind actions and speech.
What they did.
Like
As long as as far as you can actually determine through an insight.
through body language and speaking and tone and all of that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah, because for example,
reading
let's say you're
people.
like, why did the villain kill this person? Well, an insight check probably isn't going to tell you the fact that orcs murdered their mother,
No.
and the orcs and the king framed a human tribe against the orcs.
Yeah.
As what the orcs did, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like what you do with an insight check is say, "Oh, okay. So this NPC just told me that they're selling beautiful medicine that's going to heal all my wounds. Okay. I would like to do an insight check." And so you use it and you go, "Oh, okay."
That's not beautiful at all. It's
So-
pretty nasty.
so-
It'll still heal you though.
Right. So you get whatever DC you need to get. And then you say, "Oh, okay. So you're noticing that this guy is looking at he seems to be looking kind of towards you and then kind of like at the thing. He's really trying to draw your attention to the product. And you also
Consumer
notice that
product.
he's sweating a little bit as he's saying this, and it's not that hot out today. And it's that slight like shake in his hand that it's at first appeared to you that it was more him just kind of jostling the thing, but it seems to be more involuntary than that. It doesn't seem to be happening consistently,
It appears to be nervousness
Exactly. So you
rather
give them
than a tick.
Yeah, you give them information, and if they get like a crit, you can say, "Oh, okay. Yeah, he's fucking lying to you. He's looking at the door like oh my god, it's so obvious, man. This guy has no fucking idea what this shit is. He's just trying to make a quick buck out of you for sure. Like he's looking at your fucking wallet and everything. Like, oh my god, dude. He's here for the cash." Like that's it. You use it in a way to describe how the situation is so that people can understand and infer and have that insight into what the person is like and what.
Oh my god, he said the thing.
Like that's what it is, and even when you read it, that's what it says. Do you believe
I'm
that
gonna need
most
to look
groups
up that
play it that
Basher
way
video.
too? I don't know what most groups do. I could never say what most groups do. What I would say is that most people use it to figure out whether or not somebody is lying to them. That's as far as I would go. Which is the intention of it, to figure out intentions behind things. Do people necessarily need to do it in the certain way of telling them exactly what the person looks like and what they're doing? I don't think so. As long as they're using it,
you don't have to.
As long as they're using it in the way that it's intended to be used as a way to intuit motive.
Yeah.
Right?
whenever we describe stuff, we tend to lean into the realism and like what it would be like if this person was actually doing this.
Right.
But if someone does an insight check in that same scenario, someone does an insight and succeeds, you could just be like, yeah, he seems pretty nervous and kind of unsure of what he's, selling you.
Yeah.
It's probably a lie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if I'm not going to do the descriptive way, that's probably the way that I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just nice and simple.
That's my point entirely. We can't guarantee that other groups do it that way. We can't guarantee that they don't either. Like, that's the problem, right? Like, we can't guarantee one way or the other. We cannot, like, assume one way or the other. We can just say, this is what it states, and if you're using it in the way that it's intended, then what you're doing is using it to determine the intentions. And that's really all you can ask for. And I believe that most people use it that way, to determine the intentions of an NPC or other people in the game, right? That's the easiest way to just immediately slam dunk. Yeah, people are using insight, quote unquote, correctly. There's no correct way of necessarily describing things. If somebody describes a landscape completely differently than somebody else, neither of them are describing something, like, wrong. That's just it's just the way that I see it, and I don't think that it's unreasonable as a take. But I don't know. I'm perfectly willing to be argued away from this, but I don't see how it could be a different way. Anyway, continuing.
That's fine. But if you want a little more creative thinking and in-character descriptions, then the blank check is an easy house rule for you to try out because it's just a subtle shift in the player's state of mind. Cause, let's take a step back. Generally, you can't automatically get your fellow players to roleplay more or to roleplay better. It doesn't normally work like that. So, here are the other helpful suggestions that I promised. First of all, you gotta know that some people just won't be into describing stuff. Maybe one of your players is in it just for the strategy of their character features.
True.
Actually, that would mean they might like the blank check idea anyway. So let's just say this player is in it only for the lore and the world building. That's totally fine. But for players who are open to more roleplay, lead by example. That can mean making eye contact or not making eye contact. Considering your body language and how it reflects the character or the creature. Miming actions, maybe using an accent, or maybe just changing the pitch of your voice one way or another. And an easy one. When you ask questions or prompt someone else, talk to the character, not the player. Aragorndal, what do you think we should do? And then, when another player does roleplay in a fun way, tell them they were awesome. Literally encourage them. And respond in character, but remember that role-playing, even in character, can mean acting in that first person, pretending to be them, or it can be third person, just describing what the character says or does.
This is all things that everybody is agreeing with. Like, this is fine. There's nothing wrong here. Nothing to even comment on, really.
I found the video, and it was not about insight specifically. It was about social encounters. Yeah, okay. So insight can be used insight can be used to find out whether or not they are receptive to the different interpersonal roles.
Yeah.
And it can also tell you what their standing towards you is, if they are hostile, indifferent, or friendly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that was what I was. So I apologize. I was wrong.
You're absolutely fine. I get you.
It was not insight as a whole. It was specifically insight and social encounters.
Yeah. Okay.
Specifically.
Gotcha.
And it never hurts to provide a little incentive for the behaviors you want to see at the table, as long as everybody has a fair shot at living up to those standards. So, if everyone in your group is relatively equal in their desire to roleplay and describe their actions, consider awarding creative ideas and descriptions with inspiration or hero coins.
Sure.
Because hero coins is really what I use to make any adventure epic and heroic.
Okay.
So check out my video about hero coins right here on your screen.
Segue.
And maybe pick up the PDF of this adventure I wrote, linked on your screen and down below. In any case, thank you for your support, and special thanks to the Bob World Builder patrons who allow me to do what I do. Keep building.
Yeah, again, I feel like if he had talked about this being for more experienced people, it would settle a lot of things. I feel like it would make it so that this video is more palatable, at least. Because I would be understanding of more experienced people, maybe not
Being
necessarily
more receptive to that type of thing.
maybe not necessarily thinking of these things in that way, because they're so used to D&D the way that it is, or anything like that, right? And his tips at the end are beginner 101 tips, though, and aren't for more experienced people. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, if he did the first kind of thing as an experienced people thing, it would have been fine. But overall, this is like really weirdly for beginners, and I'm just like, all right, man, okay.
Yeah.
Did you think this whole video was for more experienced people? I came in late. No. No. I know it was not. It does not feel that way. But it does not fit, right, with only being for inexperienced people. So yeah, that's why I'm saying if he had made it more clear that was the advanced course, if you will, and he could have started with the beginner course there of the ending bit and just started with that kind of thing, and then done the big thing as his big ending bit. Big.
Yeah, very big. Very big.
Very big. It would have been fine.
Huge, one might
Cool.
say.
I gotta run before you put on another Bob video. No, this is gonna be it for the night.
No, this is the end of it.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks, Juice. Thanks for being around.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I just think that it's just that weird mismatch of advice, I think. And again, like we were saying before, even with experienced players, do they really need this? Not necessarily. I don't know. It's not bad to have out there, right? It's not a bad house rule, right? But yeah, it's weirdly not explained. Just it's a weird video for a newer player, which seems to be not always what he's going for with his channel, but more often than not is what I feel like he goes for with his channel of inexperienced people to get advice and such, right? I don't know. Anyway, at this this Bob wasn't as annoying as the last video that we watched. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm glad I dodged it.
Yeah, you should be. It's it made me real mad. This one was just like but like the other one actually made me upset. Anyway, that's the videos for the evening. I'm gonna move on to comments. So we only have a couple of them to do, and of course, I know you just got in, Boo. But if you wish to, you can get the fuck out if you want.
Well, let me ask before I do go. Would you like to play anything tonight or no?
Oh no. I started tonight like I woke up at 7 a.m. after waking up at 4 a.m. Yeah, I don't know what it was about last night, but I could not sleep. Great.
Sucks.
So after this I'm just gonna pass out, which is gonna be nice.
Sounds good.
But yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to be busy all week this week? Because I'd love to play a game. It doesn't have to be Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I shouldn't be busy all week. No, I'm just going to be taking a lot of time to edit if I can.
Okay.
But I will let you know. And you can let me know when you're good and everything too. So.
I'm off Monday and Wednesday.
We'll go for Wednesday because Monday I do want to devote to editing for sure.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll do that.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
All right, well, take it easy.
Yeah.
And outro phrase.
Outro phrase. Yes. Goodbye. Fun. We are all experienced players here. I started role-playing many years ago, so I'm very experienced. I'm not feeling any imposter syndrome whatsoever right now. Fair enough. Couldn't sleep in there. Yeah, so it wasn't that I couldn't sleep entirely. It was just that, I just didn't sleep well. I don't know what it was. I got up at 7 and just couldn't go back to sleep. Anyway, let's move on to comments. Hey, ho, hey, we have comments to read. Okay. So, Timothy has left a couple of comments over the past couple of weeks that I will get to right now. So, firstly, we have on 213. Timothy says, hello, bros. Hello. New lore. I thought it would be cool to list out all the guilds in my world at the moment. Some guilds are not always 100% united, fair enough, and sometimes fight against each other over certain matters despite working in the same field. Hey, that makes sense. Number 1, excuse me, the Merchants Guild. Historically disconnected, each guild office runs independently in each country/kingdom, setting its own prices with very little overlap. This has led to heavy differences when buying and selling goods from place to place, like bread costing more than gemstones, in one kingdom, for example. Nobles from well-known families have taken high-ranking jobs in merchant guilds without much experience, which has sparked fights between members. Leaders of each kingdom guild meet once every 10 years to bring up important topics, such as major changes to the coin system itself. Number 2. The International Magic Office, IMO. Historically well-connected. Set up with 4 branches, north, south, east, and west, with their main goal being to protect and advance the art of magic. The need to protect came about because of the unpredictable nature of the Merchants Guild, stepping in to regulate prices and deals around magic items, as well as making sure magic is used responsibly. Since all living beings have the ability to learn magic, the IMO wants to make sure that everyone is safe in their craft. The IMO also has the most complex leadership with the 3-chair system, along with a detailed middle management. Cool. Number 3, the Assassins Guild, mostly disconnected. Similar to the Merchants Guild, each Assassin Guild branch is working on its own or on their own and compete for jobs sometimes. Their goals speak for themselves. Underground secret operations, murder, stealing, and spying. They may be just as dysfunctional as the merchants, but by working in the shadows, only their members and those who work around them really know that fact. Number 4, the Warriors Guild. This guild is the main place where paladins and generals get trained. Most kingdoms hire a guild member to work with their armies. The Knights of Bahamut are the highest-ranking faction in the guild, working independently to fight danger across the world, led by Bahamut himself, along with his priests. Bahamut is often credited as a founder of the guild, but it was actually a highly skilled follower of his. This was a marketing idea by the founder with Bahamut's permission. The Warriors Guild is closely tied to the IMO to help protect the world from threats. 5. The Love and Intimacy Guild. The goals of this guild are to ensure the respect of those that provide intimate connection and fulfillment, and those who take pride in the body as an art form. Oh, interesting. Most brothels and other love houses are run by this guild. Taverns and inns need to be approved by this guild in order to have adult entertainment options to make sure the worker is treated fairly. If a tavern owner breaks the rules set by the guild, they face heavy fees and even lifetime sentences in a dungeon or death for extreme cases. The Knights of Bahamut help with the enforcement of these rules most of the time, but usually things go smoothly. The guild has worked hard to foster kindness across the world, setting up various charities for peoples in need. Many of the guild's top members have become some of the most well-known people, just below some heroes and nobility. Guild HQs also teach sexual education to anyone who wants to learn. One of the guild's most popular events are their large grand stage shows, starring its members, held in theaters in big cities. The guild believes everyone deserves love, and the body is beautiful in all its forms, and is a treasure to be honored. Other smaller guilds exist for fishing, blacksmithing, etc., but are not as widespread as the Big Five. That's all I got. Have a nice day. P.S. I wanted to give credit to Chara for bringing up in chat that in older civilizations, sex work was an honored position that helped inspire the Love and Intimacy Guild, and I really liked that idea, so I ran with it. Thanks, Shin. Very cool. And yeah, makes sense. Sex work has always been a integral part of society, a lot of the time. So, absolutely having a guild that's based off of that makes total sense to me. Love it. Anyway, obviously it's more than that, as stated, but you know. I guess it would really be more accurate to say that I roleplayed a lot many years ago. Fair enough. Glad to have helped inspire something. There you go. Okay. Timothy also, on our last thing of Pokemon Emerald Sea Glass, says, "Hello, bros. Hello. New lore. Leroy POV. Leroy and Star Ruby walked down the front of stairs of the castle toward the courtyard where Cornell said to meet. A small group of knights were posted all around, hoping to be chosen for the traveling party. Woodard, the Gnoll general, was sitting in one corner getting groomed by some other Gnolls. Cornell sat in the center of the yard with his head down, eyes closed, and both hands resting on his axe handle, waiting for everyone to arrive. When Leroy and Star Ruby entered through the archway, Cornell's eyes opened. Star Ruby. It feels great to not need that cane anymore. Leroy. Yes, you're looking more like you did before the tournament. Glad I was able to mend that broken spine Cornell gave you. Sorry I couldn't do it faster. I know how much you hated staying in bed for so long. Star Ruby. No need to apologize, boss. I'm better now. That's all that matters. Walking past Woodard, the general gave them a small grin. Woodard. I can't wait to see what you can do in battle with my own eyes, masked ogre. The king holds you in high standing, but can you keep it up? Star Ruby. I will. I could prove it to you whenever you want. Woodard. Ha! I do like that backbone you have. Maybe when this campaign to this swamp is done, you can fight me one-on-one for a little fun. Star Ruby. Anytime. Leroy. A fight with rules, I hope. Cornell. That would be a fun fight indeed. That will only happen when I am around to watch. Understand, Woodard? Woodard nodded her head. Leroy. So is everyone here? Cornell. Looks like it. Gather around, everyone. I will be setting off to claim a prize for the kingdom, but I can't bring a large army. My brother-in-law, Leroy Alabaster, and his bodyguard, Star Ruby, will be joining me along with General Woodard, the one that knows how to get to the target. We will bring 6 fighters with us. Those who wish to come step forth and state your name. Excuse me. After about an hour of talking to the knights that wanted to come, the party was finalized. Cornell. Wonderful. Many thanks to all that honored the call. Get the coaches ready. We will leave for this mysterious swamp as soon as possible. Leroy and Star Ruby were waiting by the front gate for the coaches when Galvin and Massimo came running up. Galvin. Oh, good. We got to you before you left. We wanted to wish you luck. Massimo. Hopefully, the quest will bring great glory. Leroy. Thank you. Try not to drive Veronica crazy while we're gone. Galvin. We'll do our best. Hee hee. Massimo. He will be good. I promise. The coaches came riding up with Woodard sitting on the roof, and Cornell could be seen kissing Veronica goodbye by the front door of the castle. Cornell. I will return soon, my queen. A great worm soul tightly in my hand. Veronica. Make me proud, my love. The party climbed into the coach and made their way through town toward the 4th gate out of the valley. That's all I got. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you, of course, for your comments. Appreciated, as always. Well, we did it, everybody. We got it. We went through everything. Now it's time for me to tell you about all of the ways of which you can support us if you wish to. Only if you wish to. Do not find yourself to be obligated to, of course, all of the things that have been said many a time for those who have stayed until the end. Anyway. If you want to support us financially, you can by joining us over on Patreon or going to the Ko-fi and joining via that way as well. Both of them have the exact same benefits. That being as low as tier 1 with as little as $1 a month, you can get access to things early, as well as the editing streams and all of that. I recently found there's like a chat thing. Oh my goodness, I got a notification. Oh my god. I'll check that later. Or will I check that now? I don't know. I'll check it now, just in case. I would say that. Oh, there we go. Okay, there it is. So, for as little as $1 a month, you can go and join it. And of course, a big thank you goes out to all of our members who do give that little bit here and there. Being, of course, Draco Kraken, Rick, aka Unit Rico, and Steely at tier 4 for those $15 that you give us every month for however long that you have done it at this point. Oh my god. It's been a long... We've been doing this for a while, hey? Of course, a thank you goes to Crimson Rose as well, and a thank you goes to our tier 1 contributors. We appreciate all that you can give if you do choose to. Don't feel like it's an obligation, as I said, please. Just enjoy the content as you will. Of course, other ways that you could, if you wish to, support us, going over to TeePublic and getting all of these things on all of the things that they have there. That being the current logo, the shirts, all that kind of stuff. You can go over there and do it. Soon enough, we'll have the ability for you to go over to, what the fuck is this called again? Fourth Wall. That's what it's called. For you to be able to get other stuff that I still need to design. I need to get the boys to help me with ideas and designing stuff. But regardless, for now, it's just the TeePublic thing. And yeah, you can also go over to our website, TableTalk d&d.us, and go over to the support us page to look at all the things that I have talked about and will talk about in the future here, is to get our custom dice that will go over to Fourth Wall once I make sure that it works entirely. But for now, they're right here, so you can get one of the 96 that are left if you wish to. Moving on from there, Humble Bundle. So this is a weird thing that I gotta clear up a little bit here. Humble Bundle, we have a link in our description if you wish to use it to go over to Humble Bundle. It helps us, and all the stuff that you buy helps the developers and charity, but the link itself does not give us money, which is good, because you're not taking... sorry, let me rephrase. When you use the link, you are not taking away from the developer and the charities when you buy bundles and all that kind of stuff. You can see sliders and all of that that you can get when you buy bundles and things through the store and the choice and all of that. You can see sliders to give more to charity or more to developers and more to Humble and all of that. What we get is a commission bonus. Over time, I assume, when we get enough people to use the links. So, the more that you click on the links, I guess, the better it does for us. I don't know. But regardless, if you wish to use the link in our description, it will help us via commission. It doesn't actually make it so that when you're buying something, you contribute directly to us. So, that is an important distinction that I want you to be aware of, and I want that to be perfectly clear as I can make it, because, to be honest, I don't understand it entirely. But regardless, if you go and use the link, it helps us a little bit. So don't worry about it. Get whatever you want through the stores and such. Right now, what I would recommend is this Delta Green RPG, VTT, and Fiction collection here, which is books, as well as TTRPG books, and virtual tabletop stuff, like for Roll20 and for Foundry. This is a fantastic bundle that I definitely bought when I had a lot of the books and stuff, because I wanted more of the books and stuff. So $25 for 58 items. I love this system. It is one of my favorites, and I can't recommend it enough. We have a link in our Discord if you want to use that link to go here instead of using the regular link in the description. But the regular link in our description will also help us. So I don't know how it works entirely, but regardless, go and get the Delta Green bundle, even if you don't use our link. That's fine. Other than that, there's some Dragonlance stuff if you have any interest in the Dragonlance side of D&D stuff. You've got some there's Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is in this bundle here, Humble Heroines 2025. This seems to have been gone, the Wrath and Glory one. That sucks. Oh well. But yeah, go check out Humble Bundle. It's a great site. Even if we don't make money from it, like directly or indirectly, it's still something that I want to promote because I get a lot of games, I get a lot of good material out of this, especially with stuff like this for Delta Green and all that. So please, go and check out Humble Bundle using the link in our description or whatever you wish there. And be excited for when Fourth Wall does get released to you to go and check out. Anyway, my cats are now yelling at me through my door, so I'm gonna go and hang out with them for a couple of minutes before I go to sleep. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for the show, for hanging out and watching the VOD if you do in the future. And yeah, just thank you very much for joining us as always. Don't forget to do all the YouTube stuff if you want to. The subscribing, the liking, and the sharing, and all of that. Please share the videos. You know what? That's the thing that I'll say. The thing that's free, that you can share to people that might actually enjoy what we do. Share it to people so that we can get the watch time up, I guess. Because that's what YouTube is gatekeeping us with. Watch time, amounts of hours watched, or whatever the fuck. Do whatever you want there. Figure it out. If you don't want to share these videos with anybody, hey, that's perfectly fine too. Hope you continue to enjoy regardless. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for more of the show. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Go on. I'll see you later. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, all right? I know I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad, but I will say you gotta go so that I can go to bed. All right. Bye-bye.